Let's see. I see we got a bunch of people in chat already. I love to see it. Everyone's here. Everyone's saying hi. How is everyone doing? Give everyone a chance to trickle in. Come on into the chat. Come on in this to the show. All right, introductions. Say hello. Oh, Judd, the master over here, the master of solitaire gaming and geekless. And you've got more geekless, buddy, than anyone I've ever met, and I love it. And I love looking through them. A lot of
Got
times.
hundreds of them. I've got hundreds of them and about 200 thumbs. I
I
make
love
them.
it.
I make them for very limited audiences.
Yeah. No, I love it though. How is everybody doing? It is so coming from Minnesota here. It is finally warming up, finally getting into spring. We had like a snowstorm, I feel like not that long ago, but now literally today's maybe only like a high of 50, but then tomorrow's going to be in 60s. Ooh. This guy can't wait. I'm getting excited getting I'm going to get the grill out soon. Maybe tomorrow I'll get the grill out. I would love to do that. But Judd, how's it? What's the weather down there?
About the same. I think we're over 60s. I think we're going for today, maybe.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
I had a tornado warning 2 days ago.
I don't miss the constant tornado warnings I used to get when I lived in Missouri there, especially down by Springfield in that area, right? There's you guys down there, that southwest Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma. I mean, constantly tornado warnings all the time.
Oh
So,
man, the
real,
weirdos in
real
Wichita,
about
they
that.
used to do this dumb thing where if any part of Sedgwick County was threatened, they set them off for the whole county. So it was
Oh,
always
the
this,
you get
yeah.
the sirens, so
So
you
it's
get
the
the whole
southwest corner of
yeah,
the state. It's not even in Sedgwick, which where I'm at from. And Wichita's, for Kansas, is huge.
yeah,
We take up Sedgwick. I'm up in the northeast side. If tornado touchdown, it'd take an hour and a half to get to me.
yeah,
But they set them off. Well, it just got to the point where we just go downstairs and turn on the TV. We had our tornado shelter right there. It was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. The only reason we're doing this is because we got kids, because we're going to be safe for them. But it was always like, let's just go. And well, then they had fixed it where they were only going to do sections of town as they got closer. So the suckers go off at like 12:01 in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to bed. My wife's been out. I wake her up. My daughter lives down the street for college,
yep,
and she brought her friends over and was like, "Oh, it's in the southwest corner. They're back to being stupid again." So I guess they
yeah.
fixed that. So
Never mind. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So basically, it woke her up. We were all up for about 40 minutes. Said, "Yeah, this is a nothing burger." They shut them off and went back to
Yep,
bed.
yep. Good afternoon. Or was it Rob? 3 in the afternoon here in the UK. 3 in the afternoon. All right. So yeah, 9 a.m. where I am. And Judd, you're not
We're
Mountain Time.
cent-
You're
we're
Central.
we're central.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
Central. So you're 9 a.m. too. Yeah, we. That's one of the reasons I like to do the show in the morning. I think every other wargaming show basically is in the afternoon anyway or evening. I like to do it in the morning because then I feel like I can get more people in Europe, UK especially, um, that can come and watch it, and it's a decent time as opposed to super late at night. So. And of course, Daniel here from Spain. Good afternoon from Spain. So yeah, you can come on in. 4 p.m. First one of Rob says first one of Wayne and Judd streams I've been to live for a while. Well, welcome. And here's the deal, guys. We love watching you guys. We love having you guys here live. You can always rewatch them later. One nice thing, if you rewatch it later, or you're watching it for the first time later, when you make your comments, then it'll be permanent underneath the video. So if you ever have any suggestions for topics, Judd always likes to bring this up, and it's a great. I like to ask you guys if you get any suggestions, anything you want to see covered that we want for us to cover, talk about, war game related, or maybe not war game related, whatever you want to hear for us. Want to hear us talk about it? Put it in the comments, not necessarily in the live comments, but in the permanent comments after the show ends. So, all right, what else we got? We got Nick in here. Saturday is going great. Saturday's going well. Well, pretty good. I got up. So my son's he's had a cold and he's not been feeling well, so he's snoring. So he's 4, he sleeps with us, and he was snoring so loud it sounded like a man snoring. Woke me up at 4:30 in the morning. So I've been up for a while. Did a little. I caught up on some gaming, caught up on some editing of videos, just working on some stuff for the channel. But and I did. I've been playing Dragons Down, which is like a fantasy adventure game, like an open world adventure game. Been playing that as my non-wargaming gaming. So, whoa, where are you at, Nick? Wayne and Judd, good morning. We had 6 to 8 inches of snow dumped on us yesterday. What was that like? Where are you, Nick? I thought I knew where you were, but maybe not. Jeez, 6 to 8 inches of snow. All right. Let's see here. Oh, If I have a little trouble here with my program, it seemed like it was kind of messing up here a little bit, but I think it's working now. Anyway, Greg, Paul, or I said Nick, Bruce, Springfield, Pennsylvania, the other Springfield, the other Springfield, and Charles. Good morning, 7 a.m. there. All right. Well, yeah, because you're down in San Diego. Charles is in San Diego, so I don't even want to know what the weather is there. I don't even want to hear about it. So, all right. Oh, Colorado. Nick's in Colorado. That's why he's got all that snow. So makes sense. Say that, or like, I don't know, Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo gets a ton of snow, lake effect. So, all right. So we'll get to our topic in a little bit. Topic will be games that however you want to phrase it, and games we used to love, now we don't. Games that maybe we had a lot of fun with. Maybe we've realized it's got more flaws than we originally thought. Whatever it is, we'll talk about it with our games. But before that, games on your table. Judd, you want to go first? What have you been playing?
Well, virtually, I still got my 2 games of Memoir, my 2 games of Command and Colors Ancients. Tom's thumping me like a drum in our ongoing live game of Prelude to Rebellion.
Okay.
And still playing Alex on Washington's War. Alex, if you're watching, make your play, man. It's because Washington launched a winter offensive against Cornwallis, and I've got him surrounded. Going for the 82% chance to win, and I'm going for trying to capture his army and make him lose the regulars' advantage.
It's like chess. You just concede, right? Put the king down and say it's over. I give up. He might have to give up.
Well, I mean, he's still in, and he took Benedict Arnold out right away on me, which kind of crimped my style. But yeah, if I pull this one off, Benjamin Franklin will just about bring in the French if that guy gets off his duff and starts doing his job for me. He hadn't come through me for a long time in these games. So, anyways, all the time I'm always checking my phone. You make your play, make your play, make your play, make your play.
Make your play, yeah. Come on, buddy. All right. Let's see. What have I been playing? Okay. So.
Oh, sorry, Wayne. I didn't mention.
Yeah.
Command and Colors, Medieval.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to mess around with a little Constantinople. David's got me inspired again.
Constantinople.
David Kennedy. It's a State of Siege game. It was never published.
I'll say that's okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, wait, that was never published, though, right?
Yeah.
But then David Kennedy, did he have some printed up and then he was doing like giveaways or something? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, on his Substack.
Yeah.
I had my friend Rob was really good at print and play games, and he made me a copy years ago. And I had the phone app. There's a phone app for it too. It's just not graphical. Okay. But yeah, I played it. I got it, and then somebody made a really sweet map, big size map, and it's really pretty, very colorful. David likes the original better, but I had it printed up on I forget the name, Zazzle, I think. They make the posters. So basically lay that out, put a poster frame on top, and then play it that way. So
okay, all right.
But I'm getting ready for a week from now. Spring break, families all going to Disney. The official excuse is, I've got to watch the dog, and my daughter's bringing Toe the cat down. Unofficial excuses. You've seen Disney once or twice. You've seen it enough. All the rides are kind of lame after a while. They all look up. Anyways, it's my week of wargaming. I take the week off of work.
I was going to say, how much wargaming are you going to get done in that week?
Yeah, and I play a little bigger. I'm not going for raw number. I'm going for a little bit bigger games. And try to make a dent on my list of 12 games I've said I was going to knock out this year.
So that's a quick little aside before I show you my games, talk about what games I've been playing. That makes me think of kind of the idea of like keeping track of your games. So I started using board game stats, keep track of my gameplays. So it's like it's an app on your phone, you know what I mean? And it's is it just BG Stats? BG Stats is what it's called. It's like you have to spend like $3 on it, but then you got it basically forever. And a lot of people use it, keeps track of all your plays. I like it more than Board Game Geek because it's a lot easier just entered in the app. But I'm looking at it sometimes and I see like other people post theirs who play not necessarily war games or just regular hobby games, and they'll have like, I played 30 times this month, and I'm like, I played like 6. Oh, it's because I'm playing war games that take 3 to 6 hours each versus a hobby game that takes 20-30 minutes. So and it's not a contest, but like you said, so sometimes it's more of like, it's not quantity. Sometimes it's just like, okay, a big heavy game, or it's going to take a while, big experience. Okay, I'm not going to be able to play it 8 times today, but one good long play and I'm feeling good. So anyway, All right. So what have I been doing? So are you done there? Anything else, Judd? You want to
Nope.
cover that you've been playing? Okay.
No.
Yeah, you're so busy. You always got so many games. I'll have like one or two that I'm playing. You're always like, yeah, here's my 6 that I'm playing right now. I'm like, geez, you're a
Well,
beast.
when it's online, you make about 2 plays a day. You know, I come home at lunch
Yeah.
and make them, and then I come home at night and make them. So
One day I'll get into like Vassal, doing it online, but not yet. I'm not there yet, guys. Don't push me. But one day. All right, I'll cover mine, and then I see some in the chat. We'll talk about what other people are playing. So, first off, on the table right now. So again, behind me is Dragons Down, fantasy style game. But then for war games, CENTCOM. Oh, I've been getting into this one. CENTCOM. So this is the latest solo game, Strategy and Tactics Magazine. Joseph Miranda, Persian Gulf War. Right, 2001, 2003. So it starts off first turn, you do Afghanistan, you can't even activate Operation Iraqi Freedom, and then starting with the second turn of the game, you can activate it if you're ready for it. Started off, I was like, I don't know, there's all these, and it's a standard like Joseph Miranda solo game where there's a million steps and procedures and segments, and I mean I think I counted there's 21 different segments. It's like 11 phases and 21 segments, and I'm like, oh, why does he do that in all of his solo games? Like that's too much. But I will say, so after I kind of started getting a little bit more, you kind of grok things a little bit and you kind of get the whole game in your head a little bit. I'm not there yet for a review, but it's starting to come together a little bit. And I'm like, actually, I kind of like it. I do kind of like, the different boop, 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 because each one is also each segment is super simple. It'll be like, here's your expeditionary warfare points, spend them on basically, mobilizing units for the wars. Okay, done. Okay, now go ahead and buy some air units. How much you want to, okay, done. Now assign them to either tactical air support or helping with increasing or decreasing it's a Persian Gulf Stability Index, something like that. But anyway, having some fun with it so far. Not ready for review yet, but definitely having some fun with it. Definitely got to play it some more though. And then not on my table per se, not yet, but looking forward to, so upcoming, I guess you call it. First off, both from Legion Wargames, just hot off the presses. Doodlebugs, so a solitaire game from Steve Dixon. You're defending against, obviously, right, the V1s as they're coming in. And then Fall of Berlin, so not the Micro Vanilla, area movement SAMs or whatever it is, solitaire area movement game, but the same game, Russian Front series from Michael Taylor. Hex Encounter, old school, but I had a lot of fun with Velikia Luki, which was the first game in the Russian Front series. Simple. It's like one of those ones where like if someone was looking for a new Hex Encounter game, it's 2-player, but you just play both sides. There's nothing hidden. If someone said, "Hey, what's a good Hex Encounter to start with?" I'd say Velikia Luki. This one looks very similar, maybe slightly more complex and slightly more bigger map and everything. But what's interesting, I think I saw it actually has 2 maps you can play on, like the sort of the smaller size and actually a 50% larger one just if you want to, which I thought was really cool. So I'll dig into these two shortly, but
have you
CENTCOM
looked?
for now.
Have you looked much of that Doodlebug game yet?
I haven't looked into it too much. No, I mean I just
Okay.
saw that it was Solitaire from Steve Dixon, and unlike a certain game from Steve Dixon that I will be talking about later, for ones that I loved and I'm iffy on now, this one looks super simple. There's nothing on the back to really show off. But why? Do you know something about it?
Well, I just wondered if they had the Hawker Hurricane in there. When I was a kid, I put together model airplanes, and it said it was a famous V1 killer. And I guess what they did, they'd fly alongside them and get their wings right under it, and then flip it.
Yeah, I've read that before.
Yeah,
Yep. So,
and
hey, I'll check it out and I'll let you know.
I was just curious.
Next, 2 weeks from now, I'll probably have it on the table by then.
I didn't know as a kid why the Hurricane and why not the Spitfire, because I was 10 years old. I thought, well, because the Spitfire looks cooler, that's why. Because that was my theory on airplane design back then. Why do you put gold wings on a Corsair? Because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Why did Japan lose the war? Because they had one lame airplane, and basically we had P-38 and all those, all those cool looking planes.
Although that's not far from the truth. They basically had the same airplane the entire war. So
yeah,
the Zero got a couple modifications, but basically when you're rocking the same exact airplane for 6 years, yeah, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, I worked with the guy who studied aeronautical engineering down at Wichita State. They got a real good school, and he explained to me all the cool stuff on World War II airplanes. I mean, some I knew, but I'd ask him like, "What's with the, how was the P-51 able to fly so far? What was that scoop thing underneath it for? What was this for? What was this for?" And man, he'd give me the scoop on all those airplanes. It's so cool.
All right, let's see what other people will talk about. What you guys are talking about, and we'll dive into the topic for the week. So, or for the show. Ah, jeez. All right, so what do we got here? Rob says he's got learning game of GMT's China War. Okay, Legion's Yanban Fu. All right, haven't played those before, but heard of both of them. Daniel says waiting for your Field Commander Robert E. Lee video, Wayne. Berlin 45 from Revolution Games. Yeah, so I mentioned this last show. It's going to be a little while. I had to shelve the game. I was just butting my head up against the rules. You know, it's got like, and for those who have it or read about it probably know it's got multiple rule books, and the main one is like 100 pages. It's just, but it's not a game that is worth 100 pages of rules. So like I'm having to like try to grok this giant rule book down into what I actually need to know. And I'm just butting my head against it a little bit. I think there's a good game there, and the components are wonderful. It's the usual from DVG. But it's gonna take me a little time. So you can check out some other guys' videos there, Daniel, because mine will be a little while. Nick's playing Warfighter Couture. I like that one a lot. I think it's a really good Warfighter game. Oh, here we go. Hey, Bruce, man, there it is. Look at that guy. 2 small games from Legion. Follow Berlin and Doodlebugs. What a good guy. I like Bruce. Bruce, thumbs up from me. All right, let's see. Joshua, it's getting some coffee. Full throttle for 7 days, which my wife would travel without me more. Oh, sometimes it's a benefit of working overnights is that I don't know. On my days off, I don't stay up on my regular schedule. Like I like to go back to semi-normal schedules. I can spend time with my family, but there's still times where I'm up at odd hours, like kind of like today. Well, you know, if I happen to get in some gaming, then, well, you know, it's just me, right? So, all right, Charles, Wargamer Mag. Started Wargamer Mag. I don't know what that is. That a
Wargamer is the name of a magazine. I didn't know if they were still around. I had that first Team Vietnam. That was Wargamer.
Okay, maybe he's got some. Maybe got some old ones there, Charles. Which hey, nothing wrong with
that
that
might still be kicking around. S&T is so.
Yeah, that's true. Urban Operations. Looking forward to getting some tailing opinions on this one. That's from VUCA, right? Am I correct on that? I do not have that one yet. Do not have that one yet. Last VUCA one I was playing was Traces of Victory, right above my bald head, right there, which is chip pull. Good graphics, good gameplay. It's got a few bits of errata on the map and on the player aids. It's a little annoying, but overall, and I've only done. I think I filmed a recon. I haven't filmed anything else yet. I do intend to film a playthrough on that one. 7 out of 10 right now. Sneak preview of my review. 7 out of 10. Good game, good solid game for sure. And again, 2-player, but you can do chip pull, so it works well solo. Paul's playing Danger Forward, the new BCS from MMP. Is that the magazine thing that I'm thinking of, or is that a full size game? There's something that I pre-ordered from MMP, be my first BCS game, but it's like a magazine or something like almost like a smaller game. To say it's gonna be a good intro, but they had to stop shipping it because they had to fix some errata with like the map and then something with the counters. So really enjoyed Legions of Leaky Lukey. Yep, that's a good one. How long does it take for Leaky Lukey? Oh, it's quick. It's a quick game. I have a playthrough on my channel. And it's Hex and Counter, and Hex Counter games, as much as I love them, can sometimes take a long time to play. I think I played through a full game in like an hour, which for a Hex and Counter game is, yeah, Bruce says hour and a half to 2 hours. I don't even know if it takes 2 hours, man. I guess if you take maybe. All right. Well, let's get into our topic here. I don't want to spend too much more time. We got plenty of time, though. I don't know where to go, so we can chit-chat all we want. Games we love, ... or used to. So, again, however you want to phrase it, depends. Just all these games are different. I'm looking at my stack, and Judd, I'll let you go first here in a minute, but looking at my stack, there's games that I still really enjoy. Well, there's one that I do still really enjoy. I've got multiple that I own still, and then some that I don't. I think, Judd, you said all yours, you don't own any of them anymore, right?
Nope. Yep. They're all gone.
And I mean, there's a couple I'm like, okay, I still like that. Or, well, I want to fix that. I don't want to give it up because I want to get it fixed. But there's a few that I've definitely gotten rid of that I'm like, nah, I just move on. There's not enough time. There's too many games. There's no reason to mess around with it. But so it all depends. So don't read too much into this, guys. If you see something, you're like, well, what the heck, Wayne? You said you liked this game. You know, I probably, maybe all of them, I'd say I liked them more when I first played them. And then depending on the game, and we'll me and Judd will both go into our differences on them. It just over time maybe there was something we just looked at and said, nah, not enjoying it as much as I used to. So, all right, okay, and then yeah, that's looks like the Danger Forward you mentioned is the magazine version one. So, all right, so let's get you shared. Judd, are you ready to go first?
Yeah.
All right, and you said I have the I have them in order of the way you sent them to me.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna do it. I'll do it, but wait a second before you do it.
yeah.
Usually, what happened with these games is, I don't know. I'm maybe trying to psychoanalyze myself, but
Yeah.
when I grew up, late '70s, Battle of the Bulge, midway. But anyways, you played a lot of those Avalon Hill games and Hex Encounter, lots of similarities. You know, odds-based combat results tables, and hey, I liked them. Still love Battle of the Bulge, right there. But tactics, stuff like that we were playing. And there was a similarity, sameness. And I played a lot of task force games, and they were based on the impulse system, barring everything from Starfleet battles. So I don't know, maybe that's it, maybe it's not. But when I'd play games and they kind of had new ideas, mechanics, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like when I played We the People for the first time, I just went nuts. Still, Washington's War is its son, so still go nuts with it. But just, wow, this is so cool. So I'd get these games like, this is really neat ideas. I love this game. This is awesome. Then as I played it more and more, I started seeing problems with the game, or this isn't what I thought it was. So, so originally really, Cult of the New, really cool. And then over time it fades. That's generally how these things work for me. I don't have a ton of them. I got a lot of games listed on my BGG, formerly owned. Some I upgraded, things like that. But most of the time I'm just thinning shelves. And most of them I like. They're still good games, but these ones just kind of faded over time. Like, I'm kind of done with this. So just wanted to explain that.
No,
the first
for sure.
one is definitely one of those.
All right, well, let me pull it up here. Dun, dun, dun. And the first one, could it be, is it, oh, wait a second. Hang on. Let me make sure I got the order right. Okay, hang on.
You like it, Wayne, so there you go.
I know, here. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and I don't need to talk about it. Yeah, I don't need to talk about it too long. Yeah, I talked about it when we... Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe this. I love this game. Well, how could this be on your list?
Well, I talked about it at length and during the State of Siege about what I didn't like about it.
I can't believe it.
But, first time I played it, hey, it had cool ideas, those subjective cards, and the way they had your action points were based on your number of fortresses. Cool. Oh, the little side battles you'd have where you'd set them up and draw them out of the cup. And, oh, these are so cool. But David Kennedy on his Substack he's far more elegant than I am. He goes exactly into this. We come to the same conclusion in this game, but of the problems of it. And I talked about it. I said, I was winning all the time. I could pull a minor victory off every time. I dinked around a couple times without it, but then I just come into a thing. I said, I can always win this game. It's broken. I mean, it's broken because I can always win, and that shouldn't it be, especially a State of Siege. Now, Wes Ernie made a great defense that if you don't like it, just say, minor victories are not allowed. Those are losses. Okay, that would work, but I'm not going to go buy the game again just to do that. And when it come down to it, a lot of that stuff, the side battles and all, they were just kind of side quests that didn't do much for me. Love almost all the State of Siege games. There's only like 4 or 5 of them I didn't care for. I think Habsburg didn't do much for me. The Levy and Mass, the one on the Boxer Rebellion, but most of them I like and kept. But yeah, this is one of them, and it's just the first time I thought it was so cool, and then the more I played it, I thought I'm always winning this, not so fun, and a lot of this is just extra baggage and extra, what they call it, fiddly. That's not worth all the extra rules they created. So that made my list, and people love this game, and I was like, hey, if you love it, go for it. But anyways, just one of the biggest flops on a State of Siege game. Like most of the others, I just didn't think they was fun. This one I just thought was kind of far off from the others, that it just felt wrong to me. So, hey, Stuka.
Oh,
he always comes in late. I said my ears, I'm got Constantinople getting ready to go on the table. He inspired me.
I'm one of the ones that loves Cruel Necessity, so I gotta me and Judd agree on a lot of stuff in a lot of different games, But thankfully, we don't agree on everything because that'd be a pretty boring show. And this is one of the ones I'm like, heck no, buddy. This is I love this game. I love when I was playing this, and now I've never played the Victory Point Games version, the VPG version. I've only played Worthington's deluxe reprint. I don't know if there's been any changes in the rules or anything. I don't know, but the Worthingtons I really like. But hey, you don't like it? You got your reasons.
I'll tell you this: the VPG version is really a beautiful game. One of the most beautiful, probably their most beautiful State of Siege game, and it's what they call those gold banner editions.
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks good. It looks good. And let's say, hey, if you like it, but it wasn't going to knock unhappy King Charles off my table for my game of choice on that topic.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, so let's switch to my turn here. For this game, I'm going to go ahead and just pop her up here, and we can chat about it. So Agricola, Master of Britain, solitaire game from Hollandspiel, Tom Russell of Hollandspiel. So I have, this game has been replaced. So basically, this is one of those ones where it uses what is called the 3-cup system. So basically, it's a matter of shuffling units between cups. As you take certain actions, they're going to be taken out or put back in certain cups. And then depending on what cup they're in, or if they're in a cup, it's going to either make the game harder or easier. And it's a little bit of a delayed sort of action-reaction mechanic, right? So basically, and it's so you are, and obviously you're, Agricola trying to subjugate Britain for the Roman Empire. So of course, I love, immediately love the theme. This was the first game in the 3-cup system. And the way that system works then is that you're kind of thinking, you have to plan ahead a little bit because you want to fill up the right cups. Otherwise, you're going to end up where you're drawn from a certain cup and it's nothing but the worst results, worst units, the hardest units. And you have to, you're trying to keep rebellions down to the different tribes in Britain. It's just a really fun game, or it was. And two things occurred. One, it's been replaced by a game. There was Charlemagne, which was fine. It's fine game. It didn't quite click with me, but the latest one, it's been out for a while now, but the latest one that replaced it is way better for two reasons. The main reason, and this is Aurelian, Restorer of the World. So again, Roman, although now we're talking late Roman Empire versus early Roman Empire. The thing is that the battle system. So in Agricola, Master of Britain, there's this battle system that it's like, it's tactical battles that get resolved. But they're completely random, basically. You're lining up units by strength, and then you're rolling some dice. So there's no actual tactical decision-making or choices, right? This isn't you're maneuvering, you're doing this or that. No, it is you're just lining them up and you're rolling dice. So those tactical battles in Agricola, Master of Britain, extend the game for no reason. They're not that much fun. I mean, again, the first couple times I played it, I was like, this is awesome. And by the 6th time, I'm like, I was dreading the battles because I'm like, this is kind of boring. Well, Aurelian removes that. You get rid of those tactical battles like that. You don't have to worry about it the same way. And it tightens up some rules. I mean, the game looks a lot better graphically. So just a much better product. So Agricola, Master of Britain, I loved it when it came out. I loved it. I played it many times. No longer own it. And I see no reason to ever get it again. Period.
I had that. Rob sent me a pretty nice print and play back when that's early days, and that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I played about 3 times, and I just wasn't feeling. I didn't like the battle system either. Kind of like Caesar XL a little bit if you squint, but I didn't get what the 3 cups were all about, and it just I don't know. It just didn't do much for me, and I thought I'm not feeling so. I wrote my friend Dan, the man who does Caesar's Gallic War, and he loves the ancient Roman stuff. And I said, hey, you want it? So he sent me all kinds of stuff, C3I stuff for the people, and Empire of the Sun and stuff. We kind of do that. So I was like, hey, you want this? He was sure, I'll look at it. I think he got rid of it. I don't think it did much for him either.
Yeah. Yep.
Hope I'm not wrong. And he's like, this is my favorite game. What are you talking about? But
I may come out of the woodwork and say, wait a second, I love it.
Yeah,
Cruel Necessity was overwrought. Who says this? Spare rib. Cruel Necessity was kind of overwrought. All right, you're banned. I can't ban Judd because he's my co-host, but I can ban you, Spare Rib. You're out of here.
You speak words of wisdom.
Oh, and Daniel, that's another show. You always give good shows ideas, but then it's opposite. Games you didn't love, but after a second chance, you love them. That's a different topic. So that's a whole different topic.
That would be kind of tough because most of the time when I really don't. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm a grouchy old man. If I'm fighting with the rules and you're using too many dumb acronyms and I can't find stuff, I'm getting rid of it. I'm not fooling about with your game.
Yeah, you don't give games.
Yeah, I don't give them a lot of second chances. But there's one I did because I used to make so much fun of Combat Commander, and it kind of shocked people when I started playing it. And I go, I just accepted it for what it is. I'm calling it the mea culpa tour. I'm wrong on that. Hope I'm wrong on Age of Napoleon, and the one coin game I own. I never, and I was like where are we at?
Not, was it Liberty or Death?
No. Fire in the Lake. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just, I was like, I know I'm gonna like it. I gotta like it. I just haven't gotten the. I didn't buy the expansions, but I bought like all the Trong bots and upgrade kits and all this stuff. So, but I like to get it played. But those are really the three I call them the mea culpas. Oops, my bad.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'll love it, but most of them I just don't give a second chance to. I'm like, I'm done with you.
Nick says, Judd, you're not old enough to be a grumpy old man, but I support you.
I got the grumpy down.
All right, Judd. So next one up for you. Hopefully, I got these order right here.
Yep.
Dun-dun-dun. Is this what you're looking at?
Yep, and that was the edition I had, the first edition.
All right, D-Day at Omaha Beach Solitaire.
And that's funny. That's one of
Decision's
better games. I don't buy a lot of Decision because they always have tons of errata and all kinds of messes in them.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got it, I didn't know who John. Oh, yeah, I did. I didn't know who John Butterfield was because I had Ambush and Hell's Highway, and great rule book. I always thought he wrote great rule books. Set it up, had a blast. I don't know if you've ever played that or not. It says
like, it's funny, I mean, I love solitaire war games. I freaking play so many, love them. I have never played any of the D-Day games, either from Butterfield or now I think Joseph Miranda does like newer ones, right, for Decision games. I never played any of them. Never have. When I started in the hobby, I was recommended. And I still get recommended, especially D-Day at Omaha Beach, all the time to people. But I remember looking at the map and the rule books, and I'm like, this looks like a lot. And then the map with all the little icons on it, it threw me for a loop, and so I've never kind of circled back and dove into it.
It's real easy to play, and there's just two maps, and there's basically you can play a one map scenario. It's like I'm only going to play this sector of it. So I mean, it's not too big, and the cards tell you each phase, but you lay a different card down in each section, so you're not looking at the same card. Oh yeah, this is the one where I get this bad thing happens, but so you never know what's going to happen in the next phase. Very clever system. All the icons are they're colors, and they tell you how the machine guns fire. And I tell people, love it or hate it. If you're colorblind, stay away from it. I'm not, but that would be a colorblind nightmare unless Decision did something to improve it in a second. But what happened was I played it, had a blast with it. Second time I played it, I was like, I don't know, this is just kind of okay. Third time, I think, fourth time or so, because I played I was going to play it about every year. I just the last time I was like, I'm not having any fun with this.
Yep.
And it's hard to put my finger on it. I don't know, sometimes I said it kind of feels weird. I think you only get to activate like 3 guys per turn or something. It just feels like you could say they're all pinned down at once.
Yeah.
But it just seems like weird that all 3, and Dog Sector I liked better. There's guys that are pinned in that, but you can move lots of guys and try to spread stuff around. And Dog Sector is just a beer, what they call it, beer and pretzel game.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. It just as more I played it, the less I liked it. And I'll still say it's a clever system. Very highly rated on BGG War Games. People love it. But it's just
super highly rated and recommended all the time. I see it recommended to people all the time.
I think when I got it, it was like the 4th rated war game, but that was like 2011 or something.
I just don't really. I never got into it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not anti it at all. I just have no real opinion.
And
let's see.
Another theory I have is
number 4 on the wars.
Yeah,
war games. Look at that.
Another theory I have is I'm just not much into D-Day. The only D-Day game I got outside of memoir scenarios, stuff like that, and Tide of Iron is the Yahtzee game. I can see it. I can't. Oh, shucks. D-Day Dice, which is not really D-Day. It's a Yahtzee game. But I don't know. I've got rid of a lot of D-Day games. I think just the topic doesn't interest me. That I mean, it's interesting to study, just not fun for me to game. Just one of those things.
Well, I think sometimes with some of these games, I've noticed like beach landings just to be like there's something about beach landings that in some games can just kind of drag, right? It's
Yeah.
like how much fun is it to be like, all right, you gotta okay now like I move like a hex, I'm on the beach, oh now I'm pinned down by enemy fire and artillery and mortars, and I'm trying to crawl up the beach and I'm getting wasted on the way, and it's like, oh here you keep landing it. It's just I don't know. Sometimes like it feels like getting your butt kicked, and like I, I I don't mind losing games if it's fair, but I don't like being on the receiving end of a beating. It's like let's play a beating. I don't want to be the guy getting beat up. Like I don't even want to be a gamer necessarily beat up on the other guy the whole time either. Like I want it to be a little bit more back and forth and a little more tense. And it's not tense to just have your guys get whooped on the beach.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's how the game works. D-Day at Omaha Beach, but I know that like beach landing style games that I've played, sometimes that happens, and that's what I'm like. I don't
Well,
know.
that picture you're looking at with the dots, the
Yeah,
cards will tell you who fires, and basically everybody, like it might say everybody in a green solid dot and a red solid dot gets fired on. So that's what
oh,
those are
okay.
for. It
Okay.
just makes a lot of symbols, but also the game has multiple counters for units. Basically, they're four step units, so they make two counters for a lot of them, and so there's lots of counter fiddliness going on. So I don't. Maybe
Yeah.
that was part. I don't know, and I can't pinpoint it. I didn't. I can't say it's broken and blah 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 because there are
Yeah.
very few broken games out there. Just bad players. Um,
Yeah.
and I tell people, hey, if you like the topic, go for it. If you love
Yeah.
solitaire, go for it. It just I could not explain why I didn't go for it.
I definitely wanna try this game. One day I'll get a copy from Decision Games or whatever, and I'll give it a shot.
You might be able to find that first edition on a cheap trade because somebody upgraded to the second, but and it was fine. I don't know what
Yeah.
they did in the second edition. I guess you could look at BGG, but
I think
um,
it's a mounted map instead of paper now.
oh,
I think I remember seeing,
yeah,
which it's I don't mind mounted maps, although sometimes it doesn't matter to me. Like I'm I play magazine games all the time, and none of them are ever mounted.
you
So
know what trips me
like,
out is as awesome as GMT is, and they are awesome.
mhm.
They have never figured the mounted map out. Every time I get one of their games out, I have to lay a bunch of books on it for or games and heavy stuff for 2 days just to get it to sit
Yeah,
down. And
yep,
everybody else has no problem with this. First, I thought,
yeah,
okay, I see how Avalon Hill does it because they had that weird. If you've seen their shape of how they did their games, but yeah, Worthington and all these other guys that do stuff, they have no problem with mounted maps. It's like after all these years, I think GMT would figure that out. But
maybe they got a
but otherwise,
special.
hey, I'm not going to dog on GMT. They make wonderful games, but I've just
Yes,
learned
they
when I
do.
want to play a GMT game out, set it out and grab your Tide
Put
of Iron box and your
put it out
Cthulhu
the
Death
night
May
before,
Die.
and yep,
Yeah,
put it out the
set
night
them
before,
out.
and
And, yeah, somebody makes like little clips you stick in there. They'll flatten them out. I should try those sometime.
yeah, I just throw some books, like I said, heavy books and heavy other game boxes on top of it. Next day, put everything back on the shelf, and there you go. My map's all flat. So,
Yeah,
all
those
right.
big Herman Luttman Civil War games from Flying Pig. Those are awesome.
Those are awesome map flatteners. They
Yeah,
should put that on the back of the box.
and my
Uh,
Tide of Iron game up there, the big one, that coffin box.
that's a coffin box. If
It
FFG
has
used to make those
it
coffin
has
box.
two expansions in it. That sucker weighs something like 40 pounds or something. Bart and I compared it. It's heavier than his ogre
Oh,
box.
oh, my
So
back.
yeah, I get those games and boom, that thing that thing is going to be it'll sit down, but it still takes a day or two to get her to do that.
Oh, speaking of heavy boxes, so my next game here is the World at War 85 series of games. So there's Storming the Gap and then the new one, Blood and Fury. Um, all I have left over because I've gotten rid of my copies of both of them. Is I weirdly have the solo assistant for it. So I've never played Nations at War on paper or like cardboard or whatever. I played it on Steam. I played World at War 85, Storming the Gap, and that was one where I got into it and I looked at it and everything said everybody was saying yeah it's super like simple, you play it basically off the chits. By the way, great component quality, it's lock and load publishing, so like thick counters, nice cards you're drawing, and it's formation activation by card, so very solo friendly. Whether you have a solo assistant or not, anytime you're activating randomly, right? It's like chip pull, right? It's very solo friendly. But and I heard, oh yeah, it's super simple. All the info you need's on the counters. We've heard that before. Yeah, you don't even barely have to check the rule book. Well, next thing I know, I'm trying to get into the game. I'm playing it, and I'm like, it's like a 60-page rule book. And again, it's lock and load, so it's more of like lots of pictures and examples and big text and all that. But still, those are still hefty rule books. And I'm trying to play it, and I'm like, well, I definitely can't just play off the counters. Like, I need and cards. I need to check this rule book. And there's all these exceptions, and my favorite thing in wargaming, line of sight. And because you have like these tactical maps, you're moving these little tank platoons around or whatever scale it is. I can't remember if it's platoon scale. But anyway, you're moving everybody around. You're checking line of sight every time you fire. Every weapon, every unit will have different types of guns, right? Again, it's accurate, saying like you're not firing heat rounds and armor piercing. It's the same. Firing against another armored, you're going to fire AP. If you're firing against infantry or other positions, you're going to fire heat. Well, you're having to keep track of all this stuff. I remember I filmed a playthrough, and I got tore to shreds on comments on that because basically I made like a million mistakes. And mistakes happen in playthroughs. Mistakes happen when you play. Difference is when I film it, everybody gets to see my mistakes and comment on them. But I made so many, I actually felt kind of bad. And I tried playing it again, and I just kind of it's a whole classic, like I hit my head on the wall. And I don't know if the World at War 85 is, I'm not going to say it's a lifestyle game, because I don't know if there's that much content or if it's that deep. But it just, started off, it looked awesome. My first game was fun, but I never really got it to click where I had the rules in my head very well. And I'm checking these big rule books, and I'm looking through modifiers, I'm calculating stuff, and I'm just like, I'm getting overwhelmed by it. And so eventually I said, you know what, I gotta get rid of it. I gotta move on. I did hear, like I said, I played Nations at War on Steam, and it seemed a lot simpler, but I also don't know if that's because it was on Steam, and Steam handles all the, playing it on PC, the computer handles all the calculations. But I've read that Nations at War is simpler than World at War 85. I would like to get a Nations at War game, but I think they've stopped making them, so I'd have to get it. And it's fine to get on the secondary market, but I just have to find the right one to get into, and I'd maybe like to give that a shot. But other than that, World at War 85, that system just didn't, the game's beautiful. I think the system's probably fine for a lot of people, but for me, just didn't click. And started off looking amazing, and I was so excited. And just by the end, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting rid of my copy. I can't do it. So let's see. I don't know if Duke and Joe, I don't know if you're talking about World War 85. Too many numbers on counters for me, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
I think so. I've been following that chat over on the side.
Unfortunately, Solo Assistant, there's not any. It's a card. It shows the cards, which is cool to have, by the way. I do like all that stuff, but again, they have all these numbers on the counters, and it says like, and the rules, and people, when people love a game and a system, they'll tell everybody, which I don't really agree with. Say like, hey, I love this, and this is why, but you're gonna have to deal with this, right? Like, tell people the truth. But you'll have fanboys who will say, and there was fanboys, they think they tricked me, who are like, yeah, you only have to play basically off the counters, everything you need's on the counters, you really need to check the rule book, you can just play it, it's so easy and simple. No, it's not. Like, don't lie to people. It's not that simple. I mean, I'm not saying it's ASL, but it definitely is not, some super simple game where you really can just move your counters and roll some dice. There's a lot more to it than that.
Reminds me of the people telling me that No Retreat, the Russian Front, when GMT put it out. Oh, that game's like Memoir. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah, no.
It's a good game. That was a mea culpa. When I played it, man, I kept treating it like Memoir, where I basically half read the rule book, and it'd all be intuitive. You figure it out as you go, and beat my head in the wall.
Yep.
Ended up getting it years later in a trade again, and said, "Hey, this is a good game. It ain't Memoir." I even put that in my comments. Quit telling people it's Memoir. 50 counters does not make a simple game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he's doing a reprint, or a new edition of No Retreat, Russian Front.
I'm happy with mine. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm happy with mine.
Oh, see, I don't have it anymore, so I'm interested in checking that out. I actually pre-ordered it. I can't remember who it's from. It's not GMT. He's doing it with somebody else. Some like different type publisher, like
Yeah.
not I think like a European publisher maybe. But I pre-ordered it because it's actually gonna have it's also gonna have a two-sided map. So it has like the full regular game on one side, then it has like a smaller, simpler map on the other side. So kind of interests me because I can play the full game when I want to, but then I can definitely check out the smaller one too, maybe as a learning game. I love that when games give you like learning on like a smaller map or a smaller scenario, and then you can do the full one. Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
going right into the full thing, it's a little overwhelming. But anyway, okay, no comments, all caught up. All right, so Judd, your next one. Are we going outside of wargaming?
Yeah, first I hardly ever go outside of wargaming, but this
Hey,
is
no, that's all
definitely
right with
one.
me. I go outside
Problem is I
occasionally. Let's
didn't
do
have
this.
it. Normally on a topic I like this, I'll have 50 things and I have to trim them down. This one I went through and I go, these are really the ones that qualify. I mean, they're ones I didn't like the first time I played them or gave up on them, but
Hmm.
I had looked for games I genuinely liked and gave a really good comments and ratings to with the first time and then changed it over time. Somebody's comment, I had them. Some people add edits as they come along. Krusty, Kuhrusy. He'll have stuff. You know, as more I play this, blah blah blah. I noticed this and edit and number.
Yep.
I just changed my comment. Just to be, you know, I was like, you know, what better than I thought it was. You know, it's like something like that. Or Combat Commander is was a funny one. If you look at it now, I used to give it a pretty low and blah blah blah. And why do I need a fire card to fire? Now I got a hey, it's a pretty good game if you take it for what it is. Um,
Oh, is this the comment from Rob? Is there talking about?
yeah, I
Once I've
changed
rated a
mine.
game on BGG, I do not go back to review, even if my opinion has changed.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I follow the Tom Vassell method, which is he gives his reviews of games, and then if he ever like revisits it for whatever reason, he'll change his review at that point. Basically, whatever review, whenever you see a score on for Tom Vassell's, he whatever reviews number, that's his like current feeling, not what he felt initially.
yeah.
I do that all the time with my games. I'll go back in my collection, I'll look and I'll say, "Ooh, I put that as a 9. That was definitely Cult of the New or whatever." And it's a 7. Which is 7 is still a good game, but a 9 is like you need to get this. A 7 is if you really like the topic, you should pick it up. So,
Yeah, I based mine off the grading system in school: 10A plus, 9A, 8A minus, 7B plus. So yeah, it's like, so yeah,
Sound of
I
Drum.
I did there. I move them down a lot, and it has nothing to do with the game. It's usually just a Cult of the New, raised it a little bit
Yeah.
more than it should. But
Oh yeah.
and I'll
And the
put
game can still be
comments.
good.
Yeah, I'll put comments like this is based on my first play or two, and you know, my initial impressions are blah 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 blah. You know, so.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
All right.
folklore, the affliction. Um, oh, what is her name? Geek Gamers. You know her?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah, she had this on. I was thinking, oh, I found her from the.
I found from Invaders of Dimension X. She did a playthrough of that, and I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
figured
"Ooh,
her out from the decision game on space. The space. It looks like it has a Vorlon ship and a Star Wars ship on it.
oh,
Um,
Struggle for the Galactic Empire."
yeah, that one tripped me out. She has a sleeping baby in her arms and she's telling you how to play a game. I'm like, I'm not
Good.
worthy, man.
Yeah,
That's
good for yeah. No,
amazing.
I don't. I can't
Yeah.
do it.
But yeah, she wrote me because we've sent games back and forth. Hey, it's one float my boat. You want it? Or one time I sent her a New York subway ticket because I had some left over when I went there back in the old days when you did those. And but anyways, yeah, she goes, I got this copy. It's not float my boat. You want it? And I looked it up. I was like, hey, it says it's a great blend of RPG and board game.
Ooh,
Well, I like the idea of RPGs
I
back
love
in
it.
the
Yeah.
day. I just didn't hardly play them, and I thought, well, that sounds pretty cool. So I played it with my friend Aaron, and the bad part is like your stats, your magic, your life. It's like a little piece of cardboard you put down with a um, arrow that points down at numbers 1 to 20 or whatever. You barely bump that board; those things go for a ride.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah. They didn't think that one through at all. But small gripe. I thought it was weird that basically you and your group are going to go rid the world of evil. Hey Wayne, let's go rid the world of evil. Okay, what you got?
Do
Well,
it.
I got a buck 25 and a shiv. We're not going to
Good luck,
get too far, are we? Well, we'll kill some guys and I'll pick up some swords and money along the way. Oh, we really need to get our health up. We need to go rest in a hotel, but the hotel costs 10 pieces of gold and all I've got is one. And I said, you'd really need to plan your conquest of evil a little bit better than that. But
Yeah.
it steps up. It's storybook format, all that.
Mhm.
But yeah, Aaron and I played it. We had fun with it. But the bumping of the table thing was kind of annoying. And A lot
That'd
of
be
work.
tough.
The combat system, you use like a little tactical board, but basically you got cornered really fast, so the tactical board's kind of useless because you're stuck in a corner and you're just throwing punches or
Yeah.
swinging swords or whatever. And then Aaron introduced me to a game called oh, Dungeon Degenerates.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yep.
Yeah, with the psychedelic map that burned your eyes.
Yeah. Do you remember? I don't
Yeah,
like that art though. I'm
and
like, I don't like that art.
that game ended up being the um, better game for RPG
Yep.
RPG and board game combination. So I ended up getting it. So you could say what the Yargamers call Jones theory. If I have two games that are doing the same thing, why do I need the second one? But I set this thing back up, and there's a post you can find under Folklore of the Affliction. How to play this game solitaire, how to set up the footprint. The footprint on this game is enormous. I have a big table. It can fit the East Front, West Front Gen 2 map on it. It can fit the Herman Luttman Civil War games on it.
Yep.
And you saw I was going all the way out to the edges of everything. And
No.
I'd created
I don't like that.
and the bumping the table thing, I'd created counters with little blocks. I just grabbed some spare Columbia blocks that were blank and use them to track my health and stuff. So that way that part. But if you look at it, it's like, this thing is too much.
Yeah.
It work. You can play it solo because I mean it's cooperative,
Yeah.
but it's hard to play solo with the footprint. And I thought this is just too much work. I've got a game that does it better. And I was like, I don't like playing it. I still think that setting out to conquer everybody with almost nothing is kind of a dumb idea. And the other game did everything better. So I was like, yeah, it kind of went to the whole. Yeah, I was kind of done with it after. So I ended up selling it. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I haven't played it at all, but yeah, I don't. If it's not that big of a footprint and the finicky components like that, oh, those kill it for me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like oh,
If you play two player, it's fine. But if you're trying to keep everything in reach of yourself, because I don't want to get up and walk around the board all the time. The table, I
no.
want it all in front of me.
If I'm playing solo, yeah, I'm like, I need to be able to reach everything from like one spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like I
So
had the tracks with multiple color blocks, I could keep everybody on one track. This guy, the red one has 10 health and the green one has 8 health. That way I could keep the footprint smaller and it still takes up the table.
yeah.
So anyways, so that was one I just over time I was like, yeah, this and then I think the company went under, so they made some expansions and stuff, and cool
Not for
artwork,
you. Yeah.
good artwork, good theme, but other did it better. So not a
Fair
bad
enough.
game. It's just one I liked less and less as I messed with it.
Fair enough. Before we dive into my choice, which since Judd went out outside of Wargaming, I have one that I'll show off that's also outside of Wargaming. But I saw a comment I wanted to address here because I'm just curious. I see the right thing. I'm like, wait a second, what are you talking about here? So it's Paul. Here it is, Paul Dangle. I loved Blind Swords, Black Swan, but they just stopped saying this is American Civil War to me. I went back to Great Battles of American Civil War and Line of Battle. I'm very curious what you mean by they stopped saying this is American Civil War because I love Blind Swords. I love Black Swan. Blind Swords I like better because it's more playable because you'll have full size map sheet and you can that's it, you're good to go. Black Swan you have like it's too much table space for me. Talking about table space, too much for me to handle. To have like a 36 by 48-inch map, like my table doesn't hold that. I could set it up if I wanted to, but it just doesn't sound like fun to me, especially solo. But I still like the smaller scenarios and Blind Swords. I mean, that's my favorite American Civil War system is Blind Swords. So just curious to stop saying this is American Civil War to me. I don't want to get defensive here, but I think because I love the series, I read that comment, I saw it, and I was like, wait a second, what do you mean by that? Because you may not like it. I know some people don't like the chip pull because they don't like the randomness. They feel like it's too random and too chaotic, which, I mean, I would also then question, have you ever read or seen anything about the American Civil War? It's nothing but chaos and failure to communicate orders, basically from all the way up to all the way to the bottom. But anyway, I saw that. So Paul, let us know why you don't like or why you're no longer thinking it's American Civil War.
You know, Wayne, after I came out and saw you,
Yeah.
and I had toured Wilson's Creek Battlefield,
Yeah.
I wanted a Wilson's Creek game. There's not very many of them out there back
No.
then. That's
No.
2019, and it looked like the best one I could find was Great Battles of the American Civil War. And I played it. The thing I didn't like was you got a unit with, I don't know, let's say it's strength 7, and he takes a hit, you slide a 6 marker under him.
Yeah.
He takes another hit, 5. And then you have stacks. So you're not sure, is that stack of 2 guys and one of them's wounded, or is that 3 guys? You know, you're playing solo, you can't keep track of it all. And you got your tweezers in there trying to get them up.
Yeah.
That was a little rough for me. I liked everything else about the game. I thought it was cool. But I was like, this isn't what I'm going to go to a lot because I grouchy old man, but counter clutter is what I call it. And then as soon as they announced that they were making this in Blind Swords, whoo, sold it. I was like, there, I'm going to like Blind Swords. And I did.
Yep.
So, and I always said I thought Blind Swords worked better for like smaller skirmishes. I wouldn't want to play Gettysburg, the whole 3-day battle on Blind Swords.
Too much.
Yeah. That's why I like Herman Luttman's games because they can handle the big day or 2, 3 battles.
Yep.
And but yeah, this was so that's just kind of interesting. That's the only great battles of the American Civil War, but great system. I just didn't like those. And Worthington kind of worked on it with their version. I always thought their war games, their Civil War series, is kind of like an updated version where they put that little piece that stuck out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't like messing with the which is funny because I love I was talking about how much I love Great Battles of History, which is the same thing, right? Like you have your you know what I mean, you have to keep track of your hits on it with the dropping the cohesion or I don't know, I can't right now. But anyway, and you keep track of it, so you're like, oh no. So that is part of where like it's one of the more frustrating things is to me when you're playing a hex and counter game is each individual unit having to constantly like put other counters underneath to keep track of numbers like that. It's like, oh, isn't there a better way? And that's where Blind Swords, I mean, well, it takes a hit, flips over. You know what I mean? It takes, it's like, there you go, and it's battle worn, whatever. So anyway, all right, so get back on topic here. My choice, a non-war game here, is Hero Quest. All right, so Hero Quest obviously was back out in. Oh, now Paul responds as I'm about to dive in. So I'm going to cover this and then we'll respond. I'll address what Paul said. All right, so Hero Quest, dungeon crawl game. Old school, back in the day, Avalon Hill. I played it way back in the day, but it's not what I'm talking about. Then Hero Quest, well, it's actually the exact same game basically, so I will address that. It was been re-released now through Hasbro, Avalon Hill / Hasbro. It's Hasbro doing it, but under the Avalon Hill name. But they re-released it very, very similar to the OG 80s era version of Hero Quest. I got it. I bought literally everything for it, and I was playing it. And I'm like, this is so awesome. And the new one has an app that handles the Dungeon Master. So you can play solo, and the app handles everything, and you're chucking dice, and you're putting miniatures out, and you're moving through the dungeon. And I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. And then I played it a few times, probably more than a few. And I got to the point where I was, every time I'm entering a room, I'm discovering monsters. Oh, there's 5 skeletons. I'm digging through the box. Okay, here's the 5 skeleton miniatures, and I got to get them out, and I got to put them up. Okay. And I start playing, and I have some battles, and the fights are super simple. Okay. Charming at first, but then it starts getting tedious. Oh, another room. There's a corridor. Oh, there's some more monsters. It tells you to place them. I'm digging out. Okay, I'm digging out this. I'm digging out some orcs. Suddenly, I felt like I was spending more time putting miniatures on the board and then rolling a couple dice and taking them off, as opposed to, hey, there's me and there's 2 bad guys. No, there's me and there's 12 miniatures on the board that are bad guys, and they're all kind of like, they're all weak. My barbarian or whatever, just like taking them out, just fucking swinging through them, but I have to mess with all these miniatures, and it's like it just got to be too much. So I had all the expansions as when it was released as of like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I went ahead and sold that off. I did just get a little gift from my wife. She got me because I've heard that this kind of takes care of a lot of that problems, and it is. Oops. Hero Quest First Light. Basically, it's like not to say a simpler version because it's the exact same rule set. But it uses the app, so you can play it solo. And Soul and Shrink, obviously, I haven't touched it yet. But instead of miniatures, there's standees. Cardboard standees. And I think that's... Well, there's miniatures for the heroes, which, again, that's cool. I don't mind having a miniature for me, right? Being like, hey, that's my dude. And then the one big bad has a big, cool miniature. The rest, though, are all these cardboard standees. I think that will work better. I think that'll be more fun. And if not, I'll unload this. But I'm gonna give it a shot. But the sort of OG, even the reprint OG Hero Quest, just too finicky, too fiddly with all the miniatures, for all the. I mean, you're talking like it was like a bucket of army men of like skeletons and orcs and stuff, goblins, which sounds cool and it was cool. But by the 12th time you're like digging through for them, it's like, okay, not so cool anymore. So, fiddliness and yeah, just too much, and table creep a little bit, but mainly that was the issue. So, all right, what do we got before we go on? Let's see, what did Paul say? Where is it? There it is. Paul says, in regards to blind swords, lack of facing / formations. Okay, and the command system were the final killers for me. I like complex games.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like Greg loves ASL. I love Band of
Yeah.
Brothers. Do you
Yeah.
like some complex?
Yeah.
That's a little. I'll play with Greg because Greg is a walking computer with that game. I mean,
Yeah.
I joke. Somebody BGG asked Greg what some modifier was, and he just. Pew. And I was
Yeah.
like, I joked he's like Data from Star Trek. You can see his eyes moving back and forth. Processing. Rule 8.2.53, subsection 1, bullet point 2 says that blah, 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 blah. You know,
Yeah.
when he's guiding you, that's cool. No
you're
fiddling around
good.
the rule book. But I think Band of Brothers is a little too simple for him because he's an ASL guy. So
Yep.
I get it. Some people like complex, some people don't. So
Oh, exactly. Like I can't argue with what he's saying because hey, that's what he likes. So he likes complex games, and I mean, I wouldn't say that it's Blind Swords definitely isn't a simple system. I mean, although I suppose if you only play complex games, Blind Swords probably maybe seems simpler. But I'd say for 95% of us, Blind Swords is a good. It's got some heft to it. It's not complex, but it's definitely got a little bit of heft to it. But I think it's the perfect mix of playability with American Civil War, sort of the feelings of it, and for everything from command, which you said you don't like the command system, and that's fine, it's your opinion. I like the command system because I like the idea of different leaders have different ratings, and so sometimes a leader's not going to be able to give a full activation because they're going to roll the dice, and that's just abstracting it right for the reality of like some leaders were not good leaders in the American Civil War. They didn't communicate very well, or they simply didn't give real orders. They kind of were ambivalent and kind of I don't know what to do. You can tell it basically when you read the histories of it, you'll see certain battles where leaders where it's like, oh, this leader didn't do anything for 6 hours. It's like, well, clearly they didn't know what to do. That or they were on the toilet for 6 hours. I don't know.
one thing I wish they had was I had Stonewall Sword, the original one, and they changed some rules and they went to the next
Yeah.
one, and then they changed. I think they changed a few more. Then they come up with the standard rule book.
Yep.
And I wish which I don't blame them. Revolution ain't got time for this stuff. They're selling games, and Herman's probably busy with 100 things at once. I wish they'd go back
Yep.
and say, you can use your standard rule book. Now, these are the exceptions to the standard rule book in this game. Because otherwise, you learn one system and you're going back and you're lost, but you get lost between the two. So
I can agree with that because I have basically almost all the Blind Swords games, including Stonewall Sword and then Thunder in the Ozarks, I think is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Thunder in the Ozarks. And those two, like you said, they kind of have game-specific rules where things have been changed since then. And so I haven't even gone back to them, even though I'd like to, because I don't really want to mess around with trying to learn those specific rule sets, the differences, and then versus the regular Blind Swords or current Blind Swords rules. So I hear you.
it'd be one of those topics I do when I get sick and I mess with rules or something. Where
You can you go ahead and make an updated rule book for me there, Judd.
but I'm not as fluent in Blind Swords as you. So I think I have 2 games in it.
I don't have time. I got too many games to play.
Yeah, where you just take a sheet and say, use your standard rule book, and these are the exceptions in this one game.
Yeah.
Stick it out on the forum, and
It wouldn't take that much, but yeah, it would take a little bit of work for sure. So,
yeah.
All right. Next one here, Judd, you're up. Oh, dun-dun-dun. This is the one you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Liberty.
yeah. Liberty, the American Revolution by
look at that.
Columbia.
Look at that cover.
Yeah, it's not the coolest cover, but hey.
They have some goofy. Columbia Games has some goofy covers. Not to steal your thunder here. I think Sparta, or Sparta and
Athens and Sparta.
Athens and Sparta or whatever. That cover is cringe.
Now,
Anyway.
Julius Caesar was cool, and East Front and West Front's cool. The second editions are really
some of them are cool. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
But, and I actually don't mind the Lee. The cover is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
Liberty there, ooh, that looks a little rough. All right, so
Yeah.
what's up with the game?
So Liberty, if you're not familiar with it, so they made
I haven't played that
Hammer
one.
of the Scots, which is revolutionary to block games. And then you take a winning formula, an 8-page rule book, and then they start applying it to other other battles. Athens and Sparta, Julius Caesar, Texas Glory. This one's Crusader Rex, things like that. I used to have them all at one point. Now I think the only one I got is Julius Caesar. Um, but Liberty, first when I played it, American Revolution, I was looking for games. This was about 2010, so there was We the People and everybody else, it seemed like. I love Saratoga by GMT, still do. But for the whole American Revolution, I tried this. It was fun. But even back then, I knew that's not how the American Revolution was fought. There's victory points on cities or locations, and basically it's whack-a-mole. The British take this, the Americans take this. British take this, the Americans move up here and take this. And basically the British had the will to take anything they wanted, except for the when they lost Saratoga, because Howe didn't do his job, but he set off for the capital instead of heading up the Hudson. But pretty much the British, we couldn't stop from doing what they wanted. I accept that in Washington's War. The British can take what they want. Problem is they don't have enough fingers to cover all the holes in the dam.
Yep.
But it really wasn't about strategic locations. So that was weird. But okay, I can work with it. Everybody's trying to abstract something. And it was kind of fun because, hey, Hammer of the Scots is a blast. But the problem was Rob and I started playing this on Vassal, and we started noticing holes in the rule book because this game has amphibious invasions, which aren't in Hammer of the Scots. And I don't remember what it is. I haven't played this game for probably 13 years or more. I thought it was like if the British come in and fail or something is unclear on what happened, or if they have to retreat by sea. There was just holes in the thing, and we couldn't find them online. Where Julius Caesar is such a tight rule book, I've never been to the forum once to look up a rule. So it was just like there's holes we're trying to figure out. This part doesn't work. Sometimes the card, which I don't blame games with cards. I mean, you get wacky distributions. You play Empire of the Sun, you get dealt, other side gets dealt a bunch of War in Europe cards to Japan, it's game over. Pretty much, I think that happened to me, and it's like, oh, okay. So hey, those are outlier games. I get that, but it just seemed like there was just too many things wrong with this compared to Julius Caesar, Hammer of the Scots, and it really wasn't screaming American Revolution. It was screaming block game, kind of like the one they did on the War of the Roses, Richard III.
Yep.
It just felt like a generic block game.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't really feel any War of the Roses in that. So first time I played it, hey, because it was one of my first block games. I'd only played, I think at that point, War of 1812, which isn't based on that Hammer system in Hammer. So hey, this is cool. I'm a new gamer and I'm used to old Avalon Hill games. And then as I played it more and more, I was like, this ain't cutting it. Then when I started purging games pretty heavy, this was one of the many that hit the blocks.
Hit the old chopping block.
Yep.
Yep. And that happens, right? I mean, you get games where, and maybe it was good to you and you enjoyed it at the time, but then you just kind of, like, you outgrew it as a game,
Yeah.
right?
I used to have an entire row of Columbia. And I think now all I got is East Front, West Front, and Julius Caesar, and Napoleon.
Yeah.
And part of it was, I mean, like Rommel in the Desert is a phenomenal game. Won't solo at all. Too much bluffing. So, I was like, well, the guy who plays it with me in town owns the game and he ain't getting rid of it, so why do I need it? But a lot of them was like, these are all Hammer clones. And even Hammer, I didn't like near as much as Julius Caesar, but it was a good game. But it's just like, that was Jones' theory. So I ended up selling a lot of that stuff off. So
I hear you. Yeah. If I had unlimited space, maybe I'd still own some of these, but
Yeah, that's part of it too. If I had unlimited space, I'd keep Rommel because it looked cool on your shelf.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and then,
All right.
yeah, they made a Gettys. Oh, the League game. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
pretty cool idea, but I just wasn't getting any games in of it, so I sold it off. It was a good game though. That Bobby Lee game.
Yeah. Yeah. Bobby Lee. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Lee something. What was it called? Bobby Lee. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, All right, my one. I'm gonna go to, and this is I'm gonna have a game pop up. It's not really this game per se. I'm talking a little bit more about the system, honestly. So I have Ardennes 2 pop up here. I have this one I own, still in plastic, because I got it on their recent sale. Panzer Battles. So basically, standard combat series of games. All right, I'm not hating on the standard combat series in general. I still like the series. I like the rules. I like how the game plays. Most of the games play. There's a couple things though. It's a simple rule set. It's supposed to be a simple rule set, and it usually is. But I've noticed that most of the games have they have game specific rule books. So there's a series rules and then game rules, right? It's one of those types of game systems. If for anyone out there who's not familiar with standard combat series, for multi-man publishing, so which is fine because the series rules, I mean, they're like 6 pages, 8 pages. I mean, maybe 8 pages, but super, and it's very like standard combat series, standard hex and counter, very simple. But then the rules, I mean, there's games. It's like there's 8 pages of game specific rules, and where I sometimes struggle with series rules and game rules is that when you have like equal weight or you have, it's just like, okay, where's that rule again? And then you're reading the regular rule book, but then it's like, oh wait, this game actually has exceptions and changes, and suddenly it's like, well, it's not quite the same rules anymore. It's kind of a different game. It's instead of being the exact same game and like, oh, I can go from game to game. You can't really do that with standard combat series, not fully. Can't really go just from game to game. Like, you're gonna have to relearn each game and its system. Okay. There's also, I've noticed as I've played more and become more experienced, there's some problems with scale sometimes on some of these games. I want to say, is it Bastogne or is it Ardennes too? I can't remember. So where the movement is such a way that you can have a unit move from one side of the map around to the other side, a mechanized unit in one turn, and completely outflank Bastogne, I think is what it is. And it's like, well, that's not realistic. Like, what just happened there? And there's, you'll see some people defend it and say, well, it's because of this or because of that. And it's like, I'm sorry. If you have a unit that can move, 28 hexes in one turn without being stopped or interrupted in any way, it's like, well, you have to block the roads, you have to block the bridges. I understand that, but it just doesn't feel quite right. So it's not that I hate the whole system, although, like I said, I've struggled with a couple things with it from game to game. And it's not that there's a specific one I like less or more, although I can tell you something like Iron Curtain, which was Cold War Gone Hot. That one I bought. I set it up. I think it took me, I'm not kidding, an hour to set it up because there's like 500 counters on the map to start. Started playing, and I don't think I made it through a turn, and I said, I'm going to sell this, and I got rid of my copy. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to have 500 counters on one map, one 22 by 34 inch map. Like, this is too much. So you can get into that, and it's also like old school. It's all half-inch counters, half-inch hexes. Again, I play Great Battles of History. I don't mind that in the right scenario, the right circumstance, but something about standard combat series, so not necessarily Ardennes 2 specific, but just standard combat series in general, it's kind of fading for me a little bit. I will say that I do want to get Panzer Battles. I'm going to get it out of the shrink, and I want to get it played because I believe it has a chip pull system for activation, which most of the games are I go, you go. I believe this one has chip pull for activation, so looking forward to checking this one out at some point. But other than that, yeah, just, I used to recommend the system, Standard Combat Series. I used to love it. I used to get my games out and play them, but I've kind of gone away from it. And I had maybe a dozen of them. I've gotten rid of literally all of them, I believe, except Panzer Battles, because they weren't hitting my table anymore.
Okay. Rusty, if you know anybody that has it, ask him to play a game of Asia Engulfed. That might be the best block game out there.
Might be heretical, but I do not like and currently own Zero block games.
Not Europe Engulfed, Asia Engulfed.
Asia Engulfed.
The blocks make perfect sense when they're Pacific naval. You don't know where they're at, but
Rusty,
And
you heard it from Judd. Here, check it out.
it's better than the Pacific Victory by Columbia, which is a good game, but not as good as Asian Engulfed.
And Nick said the scale issue goes back to the beginning in the late 80s, which, yeah, right, because the system's from the late 80s. Most of the time it not cause an issue, they should find a way to address it. Yeah, it when it pops up, it's like, what happened here? Suddenly I'm like, you know, and you almost don't even realize it when you're playing by yourself at first if you don't know the systems. That's why it's like, kind of took me a while to realize, hey, wait a second. This armored unit with 16 movement, I can move it twice, can now move 32 hexes. Well, that's a lot of hexes on on a single side. You know what I mean? Like suddenly I'm like 32 hexes. Oh, hey, he just completely outran his supplies. His supply line is all alone. Like that's not really realistic. And suddenly he's on the victory point location that should probably take me 4 turns to get to. And I get it when they do. And I've seen the developer for the series. I think when he's talked about it, he's like, oh, you know, we crunched the math and it makes sense. It's realistic. It's like, yeah, maybe theoretically. I don't know if that like did during anyway, I could go on about it, but anyway, just kind of it's one of those things where it just doesn't quite fit for me anymore. It doesn't quite work as well. Yeah, I've unloaded all but Panzer battles. I'll give it a shot. I'm not done yet, but kind of moving past standard combat series. So
Okay.
all right.
I used to have Bastogne Screaming Eagles Under Siege.
Yeah, I
It
had
was
that one.
it was a toss in and a trade, but
Yeah.
at that time I had like 55 unplayed games, and I was trying to work through them, and I was like, I don't want to take on a game that's going to have a whole system attached to it, and blah 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 blah, and lazy.
That was one
And
I had. I
traded
played a
it, but I
bunch.
never got to play it. But I was wondering if it was any good.
It's not bad. I mean, here's the I'm not, and I know what I just said. It's like, oh, geez, I really hate the series. I don't hate the standard combat series. I'm like not a. Hey, I loved it at first. I was like, this is an awesome series. It has these simple rules, a hex encounter. I can play all these different games with the same rule set. I feel like it more like pick a game. Maybe you like the topic or the battle. You know, the and go for that. Don't think of it as, hey, I know standard combat series. I can play 20 games now. Sort of. I'd look at more of like, yep, hey, I want a Bastogne game that covers outside of Bastogne. Go for it, try it. It's enjoyable, although it's out of print and it's hard to. I think it's out of print. Sold my copy. I'd rather just play at this point. I have that Bastogne magazine game we covered in our last show. A single player, it's solo game, almost States of Siege style. Germans are coming in on the track. I get to defend Bastogne. I'll just play that if I'm playing solo. But if you ever want to check out, yeah, Hex Encounter, relatively simple rules. Bastogne, Screaming Eagles Under Siege, not a bad game.
Okay.
But, okay. All right, so your next one here, Judd. Oh, we're going.
If David Kennedy's in this chat, which I don't think he is, because I think he just spoke up by now.
Yeah, he would have said something.
Speak up.
Boom. Oh,
He and I
man.
disagree on this one so much.
Oh, I don't know. I may have to disagree with you. I may have to. What are you about to say about this one here, Judd?
Well, the reason I loved it was, remember I talked about I liked original ideas?
Yes.
This was one of my first State of Siege games.
Yep.
You know, I played Dawn of the Zeds. Aaron had me play.
What a good game.
Yeah, when Aaron was playtesting it, he walked me through it, let me play the whole game by myself, and basically
Yep.
it was cool. I didn't have to read rules. He just told me, yeah, you can do this, you can do this. And then I had the Alamo game, Blood Red Banner, which is really simple. And then I got this one. Well, I might have got this before the Alamo. And I had it in a Hamtag video. It was funny. It's top 5 solitaire games, and I was like, oh yeah, I would totally redo that list now. I'm not sure any of those 5 would have made it. But yeah, so this was my exposure. So I found a lot better, obviously, along the lines for State of Siege. But the first time I played it, it had a lot of, basically I was like, do they have ideas from the Civil War? Yeah, they had I think they had, granted, I ain't played this since like 2013 or something. I thought they had the blockade runners in it. Coastal artillery.
It's been forever since I played it because I got rid of my copy when I got Jeff Davis.
Yeah.
So.
Bottom right hand corner, there's cool tracks and stuff, and I don't remember what they were, but they had good ideas.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, this kind of works, and blah 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 blah. But what really bothers me about this, and I think it bothers a lot of people, I get the alternative idea of Robert E. Lee doesn't have to command the Army of Northern Virginia, although he was going to. But I mean, hey, even For the People has that, but you can move him back, spend stuff to get him back there. But anyway, that one, I had Robert E. Lee holding out at Vicksburg, and they could not take Vicksburg as long as Lee was there. And I really needed to hold Vicksburg. And suddenly, poof, he hyperspaces across the board and some dud comes in. Remember they had that cup draw thing?
Yes.
And I know he could get recalled, Jeff Davis could lose his mind and all this stuff. But the hyperspacing of the generals was just corny. And it felt like there was, then as I got more and more Civil War, there's just too much missing. I didn't need a complex game. And then really I got rid of it. But there was two nails in the coffin. One, I got the expansion. And when they went to the expansion, they went to bigger cards.
Hmm.
And then I think I had smaller cards for this one. So that was kind of
Yep.
a mess. I thought the expansion cards made the game way too long. And also, years later when I got Jeff Davis, because I kept thinking, is this the Lost Cause with the new name? And I was trying to piece that together for years. Finally figured out who Ben Madison was after the first Jihad, and that is the game. Now, I'll say in the Lost Cause's defense, it takes like an hour or whatever to play, and Jeff Davis takes like 3 hours or 4 hours to play.
Yeah.
But Jeff Davis keeps certain generals in Northern Virginia. They cost more to supply, but they do a whole lot more damage on combat. He has so many things built into that game that this doesn't have.
Yeah.
But that hyperspace into generals and some of the other stuff in there it didn't work. And I was like, this is a dud. I mean, it tried valiantly, and I think David keeps talking about, I don't know if he's hacked it to make a second edition, but I just have doubts that you could really get it any better than Ben Madison did it. But yeah, that was this was not. I mean, I guess I would say I liked it better than Levy and Mass, the Boxer Rebellion game, and definitely Cruel Necessity. But it was like it was one of the ones I got rid of because it was like, it's just not cutting it.
This would be for us in this list. I'm guessing probably the only I know your choices here, so the only probably I'd say direct crossover, meaning I could have picked this for sure. You know what I mean? Like when this came out, when I got this was one of my first war games / States of Siege games. I absolutely loved it. I was like, whoa, this is awesome! I can play the whole whole American Civil War. This is so great. And I had the expansion, and then fast forward a while. Jeff Davis came out. I got Jeff Davis pretty quick after it came out, I think. And I was just like, oh, no, this is the game. This is the real one. Lost Cause, Geek Market, and sold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sold this off so fast. And I'll never buy it again because I'm not going to pay some crazy price. I wouldn't mind playing it again a couple times just to see, what was it like again? And then because I know that Jeff Davis, it's one flaw to me. Besides maybe the artwork is kind of on the map is kind of it's a bit but is the fact that
I love Ben, but Ben is not a graphic artist. No. I don't blame him. Neither am I.
Neither am I. Oh, for sure. But he keeps doing his own artwork, and it's
I know. And the crazy thing is, there's so many fans of his. There'd probably somebody just step in and do it for him.
Exactly. Give him a free copy of the game and have it. I'm sure that somebody would make you a nice, beautiful map for a free copy of the game. But anyway, I wouldn't mind playing it because Jeff Davis takes a long time. I'm not gonna say too long, but it does take a long time. So wouldn't mind being like, hey, can I go back and play this for an hour? But now I have Secession 1861 from Fortress Games, that just the recent release there. And that, I mean, you could play the whole war in an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So it's a lot quicker than Jeff Davis. And it's probably a little less levers than Jeff Davis, so a little bit less choice, but it's still a lot of fun. So probably Lost Cause is Lost Cause for me, but I'm right with you with this one. This one to me is this could have been a crossover. I easily could have picked this game.
Yeah, I like how Jeff Davis had the political aspect where the senators turn on you. You know, that's your game ender. If too many senators, you roll low number than the number of senators turned on you, then game over. I like the economic aspect of it. Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna say, I forget. But yeah, there's a question. Do I recommend Jeff Davis? If you got the time. My thing was it took a lot of time, and it had similar mechanics to Nubia and Gorbachev, and I liked those games better. So I ended up selling my copy only because I didn't see it hitting the table a ton. But it was a fabulous game. I give it a great rating. Gave my
Not a
canvas,
beautiful map, but
sold the game. What's funny is I had the canvas map, and I thought that people would go crazy over that. Wasn't the selling point.
for
So
Jeff Davis.
yeah, those canvas maps were awesome. So I gave it to my friend Tom, who had the game, and sold the game off. But
I've got the hard puzzle map.
yeah, they don't make. I asked them about that, and they said they
Yeah,
didn't.
they don't.
Yeah, I thought they looked really cool.
They only made a few. I think they sent me this, but this is only half, obviously. But so it's got it's like a puzzle piece, but it's like hard, thick, like not. It's not a mounted board, but it's like a card,
Yeah.
like a thick, basically what the counters are, but it's the whole map.
Yeah,
Man, it kind of makes me want to play it.
yeah, it's a great game. I'll say that. But yeah,
Oh,
if you got the time to play it, fun game. And the cool thing about it is you can set it up and play it over days.
Yeah,
Because the way those State of Siege games work is
Yep.
this doesn't have
Draw a
cards.
kit.
It's all done on a chit instead of a card.
Yeah.
You draw a card, play it, walk away, come back 2 hours later. You haven't lost nothing.
Yep. Yep.
So-
exactly.
But yeah, it's just that I had a couple others that I also on the Lost Cause. I know I was going to remember earlier. The Lost Cause. Right around the time I played it, I played A House Divided, and then
Okay.
about a year after that, I played For the People.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, there's a lot of people who do the Civil War on that scale better. Now, granted,
Yeah.
For the People takes a lot longer, worth it. And if you want a simple game with almost like 4 pages of rules, the House Divided really does a nice job.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I saw other
Okay.
games doing the better job. So, but
Yeah.
so that's why it's there. David disagrees with me all the time. You need to try the second edition hack and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not buying that game. I really don't have any interest in playing that game unless you figured out how to stop the transporter beam from sucking my generals out.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't see him pulling them out of Vicksburg when it was like that was the whole key to my strategy. I was holding out there, which is like a big part of the victory.
Oh yeah.
They couldn't shut down.
And a
this-
winning and like nope, you gotta come home.
Yeah,
What do
now you
mean?
got to go home. And we're gonna stick. I don't know who it was, but they stuck some dud out there. It was like, yeah, Vicksburg fell next turn.
You let him. Here's the deal: if you let Lee go to Pennsylvania, which he had no business being in, then why wouldn't you let him? You know what I mean? Like he's kicking butt in Pittsburgh. But anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So my game is one that is I still have. Is that the one I'm looking at? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Target for today. So I mentioned Steve Dixon. I mentioned because I got that Doodlebugs or Doodleberg or whatever the heck game it is. But target for today. Still got it. I'm not getting rid of it. But the thing with target for today is, and oh man, this is one of those ones where like game design, Steve Dixon and Bob Best. So it's narrative driven, right? And it is the advanced modern third edition basically of B-17, right? The OG narrative driven style game. It has great graphics, it has great storytelling, it has all these realistic charts. I mean, the game overall is like winning. But you play it and it's like, well, that was a lot of fun. And then you play it again and you're like, that was a lot of fun, but man, I really had to fight off 30 German fighters. Like, I don't know, is that realistic? And it took me 3.5 hours to fly one mission. And I got to fly how many more missions? I got to fly 23 more missions before I get to go home. I'll keep playing. And then literally one or two missions later, you're like, I don't think I'm going to play 20 more missions of me having to spend 3 hours fighting off wave after wave after wave of German fighters. Now, I've seen the comments from the designer saying that, hey, we want the game to be fun. We don't want it to just be you go up, you roll a couple times on some charts, check for mechanical failure, and then you drop your bombs, and then you come home. Like, I understand that. But there's definitely a scale balance there, I think, where it's like, instead of having 3.5 hours, 3 hours of going on each freaking mission for 25 missions, 75 hours to play through a campaign? I don't think so. I'm sorry. The game is fun, but it's not that much fun. And plus all of it is, it's narrative driven, right? So it's a lot of dice rolling. It's not as many choices. I don't mind that for 45 minutes maybe, but 3 hours of that? I don't think so. So I have a lot of narrative driven games that I love. Picket Duty's one that I absolutely love. It's still, it's on my shelf and I'm not getting rid of that. But target for today, The reason I still have it though is because there are some rules that change the frequency of German fighter intercepts and all that, and reduces the number of waves. You gotta play with those rules, and I think I covered it in my review. I was like, you gotta play with those rules. The game is almost unplayable as is, but you put those optional rules in, or they're not optional in the game; they're optional fan created rules. You put those in and implement them. Suddenly, it's a half hour, 40 minute mission. That's a lot more fun to me and a lot easier to get through. And then you can just fly a mission. All right, you're done for the day. Fly a mission, done for the day, whatever. And as long as you can leave the game set up, super easy to kind of play, walk away from play. Although getting through a whole 25 mission campaign is a little tough in one go. But anyway, target for today. I enjoy it. I'm not getting rid of it, but man, I loved it at first, and it's just gone downhill from there. Where it's like, without those options, without those fan rules, I'd probably gotten rid of it already. But with the fan rules, it's like, oh, the game's fixed. So I'm at this thing where it's like, man, maybe they could do like a second edition where they implement those rules and let people, kind of determine how you want to play your game. But all right,
Hey, is
table
this
for today, says Joe.
is it this
Yeah.
game or Wing and a Prayer that's like a updated edition of B17?
Well, I think Wing and a Prayer. That's the one from Lock and Load, right?
Yeah,
This one is like updated.
I was confused the games. I don't
This
know.
well, I
anymore.
guess this is the one because
Yeah,
oh, let's see.
that's it. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the one. Yeah, it's like B17. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. It's like updated version of that. Like looks better. Has more options, more choices. And then obviously it's also in print versus
Yeah.
not the other one's not. But tables for today, says Stuka Joe. Yeah, a lot of tables.
Not as many as Devil Dogs, right?
Don't like to consult a table book all the time. It is, yeah, no kidding, Judd. Yeah, that one is all tables, and it's like it just tells you how to learn the game. Yeah, start rolling on tables, and that's how you learn the game. Don't ever tell me that. Don't ever tell me that, or I will not play your game. It'd be like saying, how do you play this hex and counter game? We'll just push a counter around and roll on a CRT, and you'll learn as you go. No, don't think so. All right. Okay, so yeah, target for today. Anyway, I'm keeping it, but yeah, gotta play with the fan rules. So.
Okay.
All right, Judd, you got what do we got? We got a couple each left.
Yep.
Ready to go. Boom! Look at that.
The 6th Panzer Army by Victory Point Games.
Army. I
It's
had this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, when this game came out, it was so.
Did I get your copy? Did I buy your copy? Hang on. No, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna try to mess with
Okay.
it.
It was
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
so cool. I
Mhm.
mean, for a clever mechanic, which I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
somebody's done this for. Every turn you pick, I'm going to scoot and shoot or shoot and scoot. If I scoot and shoot, I get the full movement value, and I battle. You move and then combat, and then you combat at half your value. If you shoot and scoot, you battle at full value and move at half value. So it's like a breakthrough. Very cool. Lots of great ideas. And I went so crazy for this. I made a really cool vassal module for this thing. And it's still out there. But what happened, I went to BGG. I mean, I expect all these games to be tough for the Germans to win. I mean, it was Fool's Errand. Hitler shouldn't have done that anyways. But so, yeah, it should be tough. I'm okay with that. But they had this rule that you have to garrison towns, and if you ever come out of the garrison, you have to be, I don't know, take it back the next turn or it's an automatic loss. Well, I'm playing this guy at BGG Con. At BGG Con, there's this, it's almost all Eurogamers, but there's still about 30 or 40 of us war gamers, and we get our own room, kick the Eurogamers out. I mean, when they try to come in, we have to kick them out. And we get on, we make geek list of these are games I like to play, and somebody's like, yeah, I'll play that with you. So I threw this on there, and guys like, yeah, I'll play it with you. And we're playing, and I hit this town I take over. I don't remember. It's been 2014 since I went. And he knocked me out of the town, had 2 units right up at the front of that town. Zone of control says you have to stop when you enter it. I move forward. I'm 1 space away from the town. I can't enter it. He left the town empty. so I couldn't attack the unit in the town and try to move in. I'm stuck. I can't take
Yep.
the city. Game over.
Oh,
And we just
damn.
look at that and said, did we just figure out how to break this game?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, you can guarantee an American victory every time just by concentrating your forces at one spot, knocking them out, and blocking them from coming back in. So you could ignore the rule, but if you don't garrison the towns, it's not going to work very well for the Germans in reality. So I get why it's there, but there needed to be some rework on that. And and I never played it again, sold it, and then they were making it. There's a new edition out on Blue Panther, and the developer wrote me because I put a pretty low rating and said the game's broken. Here's how you break it. Usually I don't tell how to break games, but yeah, this is it. And I said I can't get around this. There's no way I can figure it. It needs an overhaul. Blah blah blah. And he wrote me. He said, yeah, you said you broke the game. What's it involved? And I said, here, go look at my comment. And he goes, yeah, that's what I thought. And then he told the designer, like, poo-poo. So then the developer quit. He's like, well, if you don't seem to care about something that's obviously wrong with the game, I don't want to work with you on this. So, but yeah, that was the problem. It was a good game with a mega flaw we found out. And like I said, I don't seriously say, games are broken. I don't like it. I can hardly ever win with this side. No. If I can always win with the side, there's a problem. If I can always guarantee a side will lose, there's a problem.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there are very few broke games, lots of broken players, as Wendell's once said with Wendell. But yeah, that was a wow. So anyways, that's why it made my list. But hadn't been for that, it had so many cool ideas.
I think the designer, Paul Koenig, he is like, he makes me think, he reminds me in this way of like Michael Ranella, where it's kind of like, I feel like his way or the highway. And thank God Michael Ranella has had an amazing development team, Revolution Games, who they're not going to publish something just because the designer says this is the way it is. They're gonna change stuff, and thankfully they have. And so that's why I think Ranella's the Solitary and Movement series he has done so well, is because it's just been improved on. We've talked about this many times, but the multiple ways that I remember seeing Michael Ranella respond to saying, hey, people are like, hey, how about you have something to keep track of attack value and defense value? Never needed it before, don't need it now. And next thing you know, the next game, they had it. Why? Because the guys at Revolution said, no, people want it, and it does make sense to have that, especially when you're solo and you need to keep track of two different numbers. You're doing two different calculations. Like, that should not be one person's brain to try to remember, do two different calculations and then remember those numbers. Oh, you just put a little chit here and here and you got it done? Easy. I was doing D20s. That got a little fiddly. Now you have the thing on the board. So anyway, I think Paul Koenig, I think he's kind of the same way. He's kind of like, he's got his way of how he wants to do it, and he's not going to listen to otherwise. So if you don't have a strong developer that can get him to change his mind, or doesn't have like the publisher who has the authority to change it, you're just kind of stuck with whatever he made. So.
Yeah. Ranella also has a play tester. He's told me he takes great delight. He plays with them all the time. Great delight in trying to break his game and annoying him at it. So by the time Mike hands it off to Revolution, it has been fine-tuned. But yeah, that little scale thing, I was like, if you play Area Revolution as much as he does, you pretty much got the numbers in your head. You can calculate them. But for people who don't play them all the time, yeah, you need that track. But
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was a I was gonna say, I don't remember, but yeah, it was a high quality game. The Gold Banner edition, puzzle map, the hard mounted puzzle map, and like I said, it was so cool. My Vassal module really rocked. I had some automated features built into it, and I was so crushed when I saw, didn't work. So, the cool thing about it was he kept it only. I think he was going to make a 6 Panzer then for the different Panzer groups, because I would not want to play this game for the entire bulge. It's works for a section. It's kind of like that Celis game by Revolution.
By Revolution. Yep.
Works for a small section. I would not want to play the entire war using that ship pull system.
Doesn't need the whole, perfect for that.
So everything was so set with it, and then there was just a mega flaw, and I was like, how'd they miss that in testing? Oh, another funny thing I was going to tell you. This is just funny aside. So I'm at BGG Con playing with this guy. I put a thing on the geek list. He said, yeah, I'll play with you. I didn't know him, didn't really recognize him, but hey, it's cool. You meet lots of cool people at BGG. And We got along great, got along fine, all this stuff. Cool, neat guy. But what was funny was while we were playing, you just chit chat with people, blah blah
Yeah.
blah
Oh
blah blah.
yeah.
And he goes, we was talking about BGG, and he goes, I got a lot of problems with some of those designers on BGG. I go, oh really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, Mark Herman, and I go, oh great one. And he just stopped. He's like, it's like I froze him. Like, what did you say? And I go, you don't know who I am, do you? Because this is 2016, pretty much
Oh, you've been yeah.
the height of ham tag. Every video I'm making something telling about why Mark Herman is
Praising Mark Herman. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have no idea who I am, do you?
That's funny.
And then I got audience with the great one a year or two later, and I told him about that. He got a laugh. He's like, he didn't know who the guy was. I'm like, I don't, and he's always a gentleman on BGG, even if people don't like his game. He's always like, well, thank you for playing my game. The only guy I ever knew had beef with him was that guy who whined about Fire in the Lakes, Melee Massacre card. And Mark had to put him in his place because he was getting a little personal with it. But that's the only guy I could ever see having a beef with him. This wasn't that guy. So, but I was like, that's just so funny when I froze him. I said, oh, great one.
Like, I'm the president of the Mark Herman fan club. What are you talking about?
Are you kidding? Yeah, I'm his acolyte. What are you talking?
All right. So my next choice here is one that this is to be a little controversial here, and I want to be clear when I talk about it because I'm not trying to go too far here. But here we go. Dun dun dun. Miracle at Dunkirk, the British withdrawal from France.
Are you serious?
1940. So
you are a crazy man.
What's that? Yeah.
Here's
why this is on my list. Here's why this is on my list, there, Judd. So, and everyone else, listen. Don't put away the pitchforks. I'm not saying I hate the game. Still got it. Not getting rid of it yet. But, and I had a little not back and forth because basically some guy posted and I responded. And I'd already been thinking about it, and it got me really thinking. And I've loved this game. I mean, it's brand new, basically released. I covered it on my channel just recently, a bunch of videos. Absolutely loved it. But I went back to play it, and I got to one spot, and I said, oh, man, I don't know. And because I realized that part of the game, it's not that it's bad or flawed, as far as I'm aware. I just don't really enjoy it. And that is basically it's a Eurogamer, as you call it, Judd, a Eurogamer mechanic. Pick up and move. Pick up and deliver. So you are picking up people off the beaches and you are delivering them to Dover, to England, right? Well, that's kind of the point of the game, right, Wayne? You say, well, Wayne, that's the point of the whole game. What are you talking about? Well, here's the deal. You got Luftwaffe coming in and bombing you. You're fighting on these tracks. You're doing all these cool things. And the next thing you know, you got the rule. I also don't like the first in, first out rule for it's too fiddly to me. All your evacuees on the beach. So I've realized as I've played it more, I'm like, oh, this is so fiddly. Where it's like, okay, if they come in first, they got to be the first one to go out, which means that when you bring someone in, you bring someone else in, you gotta lift up the stack and you gotta put them underneath because you gotta know that the top one is the one that goes out first. Man, were they standing in line like they're at Disneyland or something, waiting to get on the ship and nobody moved? No, guys were moving. They were camped out on the beach, and then you get up, you gotta maneuver all the boats and you gotta count your little spots and you gotta put them on there and you gotta slowly move them back to Dover to England. I don't know. That part does not click with me. It's less the game itself, right? And Miracle at Dunkirk. Wayne doesn't like the game. Not true. Wayne does not love the pick up and deliver mechanic. There's also the reason why Wayne doesn't play games that trade in the Mediterranean, as Tom Bassel likes to joke about games that, all these Euro games that are trading in the Mediterranean, because I don't want to pick up grain in Egypt and bring it to Ostia to bring it to Rome. I'd rather play as the Roman legions fighting the barbarians of Gaul. So for me, Miracle at Dunkirk, overall, still a good game. When I get to that part of the managing the naval evacuations, I just get boring to me. I'm like, I don't care about stacking the evacuees, so it's first in, first out. And I don't particularly care or get excited by moving the ships with evacuees until they get to Dover and then counting my victory points. I don't know. To me, it just does that part doesn't really click. So everything up to the beaches and like evacuating. So I'd mentioned on Board Game Geek in that comment that I wish I was trying to think of an idea to basically do the game, get everything to getting them on the ships, but then not have to play out moving them to Dover. So I'm like, it's just not that much fun to me. But I couldn't think of anything. Haven't thought of it yet, but I'm not getting rid of the game. I'm going to hang on to it and see if someone else comes up with something, or if I can come up with something to accrue some VPs and have a realistic game, a balanced game, without me having to actually play out moving everybody onto the ships and then moving them, all the way to Dover. So Herman will be so disappointed, says Rusty. I know, right? That's why I feel bad. Not that one. Herman will be so disappointed. I know. And here's the deal. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I still like the game overall. Just I've identified now after I played it a few times, and the game is sunk in. The cult of the new is gone, and I'm looking at it going, oh boy. Because also tied into the kind of the idea of that mechanic, I feel like it makes the game a little long. I think I addressed it in my review. I like to talk about game length, and I feel like maybe the first time I play a game and it takes 3 hours, I'm cool with it, or 4 hours, but then playing time 4+ hours. Maybe that's not for me in this type of game, because to me this is not a set up and leave setup feeling. You absolutely can, but the feeling of Miracle at Dunkirk to me is like this should be like a one shot. Like you set it up, you play it, and you're done with the experience all within an afternoon, and like a short afternoon, not a 4, 5, 6 hour afternoon. So anyway, not a bad game. Just maybe not clicking the way it did at first for me, which is the point of this list.
So. If you can find a copy of A Spoiled Victory Dunkirk, grab one. Oh, have you played it?
No.
Play it. The you'll recognize most of the game because it's in that game you have, but this thing you don't like is very much simplified in that game. There's no ships. You move the guys out. It's supposed to it looks like they're not really swimming for England. They're on boats, but that part's abstracted. And then you pick your route X, Y, or Z, and then it says the Luftwaffe attacks along X route X, and it'll say you have so many night moves, and all you do is pick up the counter, move it on the X, Y, or Z track, or move them out off the beach into the ocean.
Yep.
But what I liked about it was that did not allow you to do U-boats, minesweepers, all that different type of stuff that this offers you because you have the boats. But if you don't like it, you can probably look at that and try to figure out some way to incorporate that system. But what you'll find out is that Dunkirk did almost everything better than that. Because Dunkirk, you had a very small deck of cards, and when you played the event, it had all your other stuff on there. Where the Luftwaffe attacks, which German units activate. But you only used it for one thing at a time. You'd flip it, place it for the event. Place where the Luftwaffe, you flip the next card for the Luftwaffe attacks. But
is that a Spoiled Victory does that?
Yeah, but the event card, when it plays, it's taken out of play. And it really sucks if like some of your big night movement cards got sucked out because of that. So separating them into separate decks was brilliant. So he almost, and I loved Spoiled Victory. I played it every year. It was always part of my solo fest I always had. But anyways, but when I saw this, like, okay, they fixed everything in the game to make it better. Didn't realize people would like the boat part, but.
Yeah. Well, it's like it turned into more of a simulation, right? Maybe than, it's still a game. It's still a lot of luck, and it's all, it's Herman Luttman game. So it's not a deep simulation, but it's probably more of a simulation. Sounds like, I think a Spoiled Victory is more of a game, but it just, I get into, hour 4 or 5 guys on the ship, and I'm just like it's just not hitting for me. I need a little bit more action than that. You know what I mean? I need to be like, again, the rest of it I love, and I love the systems, and I love the way like the variable turn order to, you know what I mean, where you're drawing the cards, so you don't know what phase is going to happen next. And
see, that's not in the original game. They follow a sequence.
Oh, see, and I love that.
Each sequence you flip a card. So yeah,
I love that in Dunkirk here. Again, literally, it's like how about everything from this? But then that's why I was basically, like I said, is like, I just want to come up with a way that I can just say, okay, they move into the spot, the sea space, right? I get the evacuees. I move them into a sea space. No actual ships on the board. I move them into a sea space, and then I have some sort of quick resolution, whatever that would be. And that's where I'm not a game designer, so I don't know. But because I don't need to move them from spot to spot on this little map till they get to Dover. To me, it just doesn't click for me. But hey, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, the combat system is exactly the same, I believe. I don't think they made changes. I don't think you could do entrenchments in the original game, but the whole combat, you'll recognize the game. So much of it's the same.
I'll have to try it out sometime.
He added the RAF rules where you roll your die and see how much RAF you get, but because otherwise I think RAF was a certain event that lets you do something.
Okay.
But you'll recognize it was just a predecessor, and then he took parts of that game.
For sure.
And just spiced them up, like variable turn order, things like that. But yeah, you ought to take a look at it. See, I mean, maybe it's more your speed, or if you say I don't have enough time to play the other game. But
yeah,
I used to have it. I gave it away as soon as they announced that this was, they announced that it's coming out in 3 months for sure. Then it took like 9 months. But as soon as it came out, I gave it to a guy that used to buy a bunch of games from. I was like, here, it's a great game, have it. I thought, well, maybe I can hook him on it. Then he'll buy a Dunkirk too. So I'm doing Herman's bidding for him. But anyways, so yeah, it's just like it was too, like I said, it's like an early generation of that, but you'll recognize almost all of it.
Yeah, Rob says played Miracle, leaving it left up for a week. It is a long game. It is a long game, perhaps a bit longer than it should be. Not that it is a second edition. Basically, it is a second edition. But it makes me think of Dawn of the Zeds, where it's like by third edition with all the stuff, it's like, okay, this is kind of a lot of game for what it is. Yeah. Maybe a bit too much. Hence, looking forward to the designer edition of Dawn of the Zeds when that comes out. Because Herm said he's got it. And here's Herman Lutman, he's my version. Yours is Mark Herman. Mine's kind of Herm. I love so many of his games. But probably the one flaw he has, Herm, close your ears if you're watching. Cover your ears if you're watching. Earmuffs. Is that I feel like he can sometimes add a little too much, and so his games can just get a little too maybe bloated, especially if it just feels like he's probably got, because I think he's one of those idea guys. So he's got all these ideas and he's adding them in. He needs someone to maybe is like, all right, we're good now. No more ideas. Let's fine tune what we got here, and then that'll be a playable game, type of thing.
I'm guessing second edition Zeds is probably a lot of Emmerich's influence.
The third edition.
So third was all the solitaire stuff. That was all Emmerich, but first to second was quite a jump. I mean, second, I told you before. I don't play it. I don't play the game more often because every time I play it, I got to reread the whole rule book.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's a whole pull these cards out with the moon symbol and pull these cards if you want to play this scenario. And these counters with the moon symbol are used in this. That screams Emmerich to me, but I could be wrong. And my friend Aaron is a play tester on it, so. But anyways, I don't know. So, but I'm guessing that because when Herman goes back to it, he strips a lot of stuff out of the second edition too.
So he said he's going to do it with the designer edition. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it though, for sure. All right. So last one for Judd, and then I'll have one, and then we'll be wrapped up.
This is another popular game with people. And
you're about to
I kind of don't get it.
Hopefully they tear you to shreds on this one because I feel like people aren't going to like my take on Miracle. All right. So, dun dun dun. Storm over Stalingrad.
Yeah,
Judd, you don't like this?
No.
Oh, I liked it when everybody
loved it when I first played it. I did not have a great deal of area impulse experience. I think at that point I'd only played Storm over Arnhem. And man, I had fun, played it on Vassal all the time and all this stuff. And then I started noticing things. And Mike Ranella wrote an article. You could say he had self-interest in mind because he made his own Stalingrad game. But he was talking about
this one?
The Japanese guy. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
Famous. I think he's the guy that did Fire in the Sky. Is famous designer.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And he might have done that little free game that MMP used to give away for Arnhem.
Yeah, Tetsuya Nakamura. Yep,
yeah,
he's done. Yeah. Yep, for sure. Pretty prolific designer, actually.
Yeah. And Mike brought something up. He was comparing Stalingrad games. He had Turning Point, Stalingrad, and this in there. And he brought up something that's like, yeah, he just said what I was thinking I couldn't figure out. So you got these cards you play. And sniper cards cancel other cards. And like if I play a sniper and you play a sniper, we'll have a sniper duel, which, okay, that's thematic. But I am launching a German dive bombing raid on you, and you stop it with a sniper. How absurd is that? I mean, that's like, I don't know, that's, you got to be a Jedi or something to pull that trick off.
Yep.
But anyways, and I saw another comment. I think Jim Crone had it up there. Why it didn't work for him. Attackers never take losses in that battle. You know, in Mike's games, it's always if you lose the lead unit. I think all the units get flipped to their weak side.
Yep.
You know, it makes it hard. But this one is like how many of the defensive units did you flip? The attackers never take damage. So you don't really get that ground down feeling in Stalingrad. It's just very, very difficult to get to the Volga in the places you need to, but you don't get that ground down feeling. And that, you know, Stalingrad, I had played that, and I had played the Hell of Stalingrad, which is a card game, more tactical, I guess you could say, where you're fighting building to building. But the Verdun on the Volga one that Ranella made with LPS, that was the game. I was like, this is the Stalingrad game I've been looking for. But just some of the absurdities in the name of gameplays. But the card duel thing, the attackers don't take damage. It just wasn't Stalingrad. It was simple. That was its greatest advantage. It didn't have a huge rule book. But once you thought about it, it's like this ain't working. And I, you know, over time I just like, I don't really enjoy this game anymore. Especially after I got Verdun on the Volga and said, it buries this game, so I got rid of it. But it's still really popular.
Pretty popular though. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. And I'm kind of surprised. I'm like, hasn't other people seen this? I mean, you might be able to abstract something with the sniper, but I sure haven't been able to figure out how a sniper can bring down an entire dive bombing wave or a bombing raid for that matter.
657 ratings, rated 390th in the war games. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Not all.
And back then when it came out, that was kind of when GMT and MMP were running things. You know, Worthington was a minor player and stuff like that. But MMP, I think they've kind of fallen a lot outside of the ASL because they don't hardly ever put any games out anymore.
Well, like a long, skinny map.
Yeah. And the Verdun on the Volga has 2 of those maps, so it's really long.
Okay. Oh, geez.
So, I mean, it gives you the stretch across, and it gives you the grind down feeling. But also, the cards also make it more difficult to solo because what are you getting ready to sneak up on me with that? Where the other area impulse games will play solo. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really kind of surprised at the popularity of that game. I mean, if people don't play a lot of area impulse, I can see it, but if you played if you played a lot of the area impulses, like, I
haven't played this one. I mainly played Michael Ranella's games. Like, I think I played almost all of his games, if not all of them. He was kind of my introduction, one of his with Revolution, and it's kind of been what I've done. I know I branched out, but it's still him, which is through what am I thinking of? Against the Odds magazines, those guys. Mm-hmm. He's had a couple through them. I played. So with the Chancellorsville one we talked about already, I didn't like that one. The design overall, I just played it. I was like, I don't think so, not for me. But I haven't played this before, but it's popular. I know that for sure. So okay,
I had no problems. So, I'll tell you what, the great thing about it being popular was no problem to sell.
No problem. Yeah, I know I've had some games where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of this one, and it's impossible to get rid of because nobody else wants it either. So
yeah.
All right, my last one that I'll cover is from DVG. This is one that I had gotten, and I absolutely loved how it looked and how it played at first. So U-Boat Leader, Battle for the North Atlantic. It's a really interesting game. It's got a lot of content, like most DVG games, a lot of components. You have your U-boat, and I'm like playing this like narrative style game, but it's a DVD style, so it's not a straight narrative. It's not Target for Today or B-17, Flying Fortress, right? There's more decision making and more going on. But then I start playing, and I realize some of the quality of life and some of the things you do is just too fiddly, and it's kind of annoying over time. And for me, that's a turn off. Like if I'm playing a game, and it's a good theme, having fun. But then I realize, maybe it's because I'm, I don't know, moving evacuees, right? Like I said, from the coast to England. That part, it just doesn't hit with me. It's like boring moving them on the ship. Toot, 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 toot. Oh, U-boat, whatever. Well, anyway, U-boat leader, you have the tactical map, and when you get to the tactical map, so there's like, operational map, right? And then you get the tactical map. Well, tactical map, and again, the leader games, they have a tactical map, and I normally love it. I love flying my planes in. I love Hornet leader. I love, I just did the Fulcrum leader, the Soviet Union one, like World War III style, Cold War gone hot. Lots of fun. U-boat leader, though, you have your tactical mat, and then every turn, well, first off, I should say, you have a tactical mat. When you're selecting, say, your merchant ships, they're all named, and so you have to like find. There's like 200 chits, and you have to find the exact name of the one. Which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? Keep track of tonnage, right? Tonnage sunk. That's the key thing of like all these U-boat games, silent victories. You want to keep track of your tonnage that's sunk. That's like the core of the war and your gameplay. Well, you have to find the exact right counter out of, so that's fiddly by itself. Okay, this counter and this counter. You find them, you get them out there. Well, then based on movement and modifiers, there's current. So then everything shifts on the tactical map each turn based on what it's like the current is. And then it's been a while since I played, so forgive me if I'm getting something wrong. But based on the current, and then based on ships movement abilities, and then your subs movement, things will like shift on the tactical map. You have to calculate. Oh boy, talk about fiddly, and talk about something that it's like I get it if it's like, well, that's realistic and that's part of it. They had to, that's fine. But again, we are designing a game that people are supposed to be playing and enjoying, while also having history and some realism mixed in, right? You got to have a good little mix. Not everything is simulated. Like, this isn't an actual simulation. It's still a game ultimately. And it was too fiddly with finding the right counters. And then that tactical map with things shifting because of the current or movement or whatever the heck it was. It just didn't click. And, I feel like I even had like little, not just counters, but I had like miniatures and stuff I'd gotten. I think there's a miniatures expansion they released. I don't know. It got to the point though, I said, you know what? A lot of stuff in this, but I'm messing around with all these cards and I'm messing around with all these counters, and then I get everything on the mat, and then I got to move them around all the time, and it just felt like it was too much, and I don't want that, right? Like, I like streamlined games. I like games that have a good amount of content, but like streamlined, not fiddly. And for me, I just had to get rid of it. It just didn't work out. So, U-Boat Leader, not a terrible game even necessarily, just the way the mechanics work for me, it was too much. And I've saw some changes. People had it where they would do, they had, fan stuff where it's like, oh, instead of having to dig out the counter, you use like the generic counter, and then you would just roll in this on a chart, right? And then you would just assign it like later on. That way you don't have to like try to dig out the counter and all this stuff. But I'm like, again, you know what? If I have to sit there and fix it, I'm not even going to mess around with it at that point. That's kind of why I like targets for today. Although I haven't gotten rid of it, I haven't really played it much lately because I'm like, I don't really want to mess around with that. Like, why doesn't the game just work out of the box like I want it to? But that's my preference. Like all these, though, these are my preferences. If I don't like it, that's what's not clicking with me. So, U-Boat Leader, I assume, Judd, you probably never played it because you don't play a lot of DVG games, right?
I used to have a bunch. But
Okay.
yeah, the one I liked the best, I think, was the Alexander game.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
I just played all the scenarios in it, so I was like, okay, I kind of got what I wanted. And it's thin in shelves, but
Time to go. Yep, you got to go. So,
yeah, I was same with Rommel. The Rommel game was pretty cool, but yeah, the Field Commander Rommel. But I played all three scenarios and play, kind of got it. Something he said on that game, it kind of reminded me. Mark Herman had a podcast. I don't remember which one because he does them all the time, but he something I think Jim Dunnigan had told him was take as much history as you can and run it through about three mechanics and shake the rest loose. Because the problem a lot of the young designers have is they want everything because they know everything about this
yeah,
game, and then they make a
yep,
game that's not fun.
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. But hey, have you played the GMT game about U-boats? I thought they had a solitaire U-boat game.
Yeah, so there, yeah, what am I thinking of? I have the books right here. Where are they? Where are they? I thought I had the books. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? The Hunters.
Yeah,
The Hunters?
Is
Yeah,
it
the
good?
Hunters and the Hunted. Yeah, so I played the games. I had all three of them: Hunters, the Hunted, and then Silent Victory. Which I have the Hunters and Hunted over there, and here's Silent Victory. Let's talk about a book, baby. Look at that thing. So this
Wow.
is the U.S. one. So I know that they're reprinting. I don't know if it's all of them or just a couple of them. I actually have Silent Victory on order of P500, so I'll be getting Silent Victory. And those are like straight narrative driven. But the nice thing about them is, and I had it, I got rid of it, but I kind of regret getting rid of the Hunters originally. But I have Silent Victory coming for now. But what's nice is that even though it's narrative driven and it's submarine warfare, they're not complex and they're not hard to play. And unlike something like Target for Today, you can get through an entire mission in what, 45 minutes? Like you're not spending 3 hours. Daniel says Silent Victory for me, Wayne. Is that one that you didn't like or did like and now you don't, or is it one you're getting? But anyway, because that's what I got coming is Silent Victory from GMT. So
Okay, I was wondering because those games all seem like they came out around the same time, or maybe I'm just confusing it. And I was
no, yep,
wondering
you
if
got, and those are Gregory Smith, right? So Greg Smith
okay,
does a lot of those like narrative style games, but his are like simpler. So like um, Steve Dixon and Bob Best, like theirs are like, hey, here's B-17 Flying Fortress. We're gonna make it 10 times more complex, and we're gonna call it Target for Today, right? And so like, yeah, it's fun, but there's a lot of complexity and a lot of charts and all that stuff. Greg Smiths are more like sort of that OG B-17 where it's like a lot more of just you're just kind of creating a story. You're rolling on a few different charts, but nothing too complex. And so that's the way like the Hunters, the Hunted. So basically, it's early U-boat when the U-boats were king, later U-boat, later war when the U-boats were not king, and then Silent Victories. You get to play U.S. submarines. So
okay, yeah. Then there was a game that came out about destroyers during around the time of Okinawa, where they were fighting kamikazes. You're a destroyer captain.
picket duty.
Yeah, and I when it came out, it kind of got slammed a lot for I think a terrible rule book, and I think Derek did
Yeah.
one, and
There's
I think.
a second edition of it. This is the second edition, second printing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, second edition. In case you miss it. It it's still got a lot of charts, and it's not perfect, but I like it. I don't know what it
Okay.
is. This one does charm me. I like it. Yeah. I
I
like
think
second.
Derek reviewed it when it first came out, and he didn't care for it. And I thought the rule book got a lot hammered for being a real mess when
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
came
Then
out.
there was a bunch of mistakes in the charts and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it
it
was
kind of
kind of being
scared me
more of
off,
a
and I
mess.
never came back. So
The second edition they did fix a lot. So
okay,
if you're gonna get it, like I mean, make sure it's the second edition. Don't buy the first edition off somebody.
okay,
Get the second edition on this one for sure. So let's see,
okay.
what are people talking about? Any other games people are mentioning here? We got what
Well,
does Rusty say?
there was a topic about topic suggestion of eras we won't play games on, no matter how many good ones there are. Well, I know what that is for you, the short dead dude. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a topic. I mean, specific
Oh,
stuff.
here.
I don't like firebombing civilians. That bugs me. Um, that's why
All
I got
right,
rid of that.
so
I got rid of
oh
that
yeah, Rusty.
B-29 solo game because of that.
Have another idea for a Judd Wayne future topic. Historical eras that either will not play no matter how many
Yeah.
great can exist with the era and what their objections
I
are.
don't know if there's
That's
an
not
era I
bad.
won't play.
What's that?
I don't know if there's an era I won't play. There used to be, but now I'm like, hey, if I can learn some history, this is kind of cool, especially if the game's really good. But
Judd the Omni gamer.
but there's topics like, but I'll play World War II. I'll play World War II Pacific. I just don't want to firebomb civilian populations with a B-29. Just a personal thing. I don't doesn't work. I don't like it. But um, but eras, I don't think there are any eras I won't because I played some weird eras.
Well, and even it says so
Berg,
like
yeah,
just to be honest, so eras will not play no matter how many great things exist. It's just that I don't. I mean, I'm not like anti-Napoleon in the sense of I don't like short French guys. I mean, I don't have a strong interest in the history. So like for me, it's like I don't play them games, but not because I'm like, oh, I just think it's a terrible time in history. I mean, there's been lots of terrible times in history. I just don't have an interest in it. So like that's why I don't play it. But again, we've talked about this, Judd. There's been times where I wasn't into other topics that I'm now am way more into. And maybe that would be could be another topic for a video, maybe or something like that. Topics we do love or something. But I've got a couple Napoleonic games now that I'm waiting and eyeing on my shelf, and then I've actually have Decision Games is reprinting some old Napoleon games. One of them is like 4 Battles of Napoleon or something like that with a deluxe edition. I pre-ordered it, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I no guarantees. There's so many games I actually get in, and then I'm like, never mind, and I get rid of.
Yeah, I think what opened it up for me was there were some old magazine games. I think they were Against the Odds. Richard Berg did them, and Richard Berg does some crazy topics that I never heard. I mean, not crazy, but just non-popular topics. And did one called Kuli Kovo. I think I may be pronouncing it wrong. I shouldn't because I know that's some Russian, but um, it was around that time, the Golden Horde, and it was a cool game. And then he made one on the I forget the name of it, but he made another one. But they were both similar to Men of Iron, so I liked him and thought that. So I kind of learned a little bit. And by the way, Dan, wait a second. Oh yeah, Daniel. Sorry, this is Join or Die. This isn't the Gadsden flag. Don't tread on me. This is the first political cartoon. Benjamin Franklin made it.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, for the well, I got it the Liberty Bell.
Oh, nice. All right.
But yeah, it's been first. It's considered, I think, the first American political cartoon. Benjamin Franklin made it for the French and Indian War, saying the colonies better unite or they're going to beat us.
Yeah.
So, kind of cool. I have it in two colors. I think I wore it in one of the early episodes we had. I have a gray shirt of this also.
250th anniversary, right?
Of French, yeah. Well, that's American Revolution.
No, the American Revolution.
Yeah, this is French and Indian War. So yeah.
Oh, that is? Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. He's saying that colonies need to join together against France or they're going to overrun us. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that came from, I thought it was American Revolution.
Yeah, there's little initials for each of the colonies back then. So.
Fair enough.
Cool little history lesson. But yeah, I got it delivered. If you ever have an Independence Hall, it's very, very cool.
And that's the game I was talking about. Nick was talking about. Here's this SP. It's an SPI quad game originally, but Decision Games doing a deluxe edition with mounted maps, and it's like 2 mounted maps that are double-sided, but it's like larger counters, larger hexes, and the maps are not full size. So we'll see. And it's super simple rules, so maybe that'll be something that gets me into it, and then we'll see.
Oh, I could do. Yeah, can we make an episode for the 250th anniversary? I never have a problem with the American Revolution. That's my favorite topic.
Yeah, Judd, we can. Judd will have. We will this year for sure. Let's do that. Judd has more choices, but I have a couple. And maybe before we do, so maybe we won't do this topic like next, 2 weeks from now. We'll do a little farther out, but we'll plan for it, and then I can try out some other games and kind of expand my horizons a little bit. Maybe pick up a couple. And we can go from there. That way I'll have some more. I can speak to some more. So
remember when we did remember the publisher review one we did with Worthington?
What's that? Oh yeah.
We're long overdue for one of those. If there's a publisher you want us to cover.
Yeah, if you guys want us to cover a certain publisher, so we've done Worthington, which they have so many great games and so many good games and a couple stinkers, but we covered a bunch of them. And there's plenty of publishers that if you guys mentioned you want to see, we could cover a ton of games with them, I'm sure. Even if not, even if there's only a few, hey, sometimes you can say a lot with just a few games. But
yeah, like DVG, I haven't bought anything from them for a long time, but I've had a lot of their old stuff, and obviously GMT's not much of a problem, and MMP I've had like 4 or 5, so.
Viva la Emperor, right? Isn't that what you're talking about, Rusty? The Viva la Emperor, whatever game from Herman Lutman, because that's the solo game, right? Napoleonic's game. So I get it. Who's it? Jerry over at Cardboard Commander. When I was on, I had my little guest spot on his show a month ago now, or whatever it was. He mentioned that game, and he's a huge fan. I've seen him mention it since then. He's a huge fan of it. So yeah, I could. You guys could give me like a list of like a dozen Napoleonics games, and I'll roll a 1d12 or something, and I'll just decide go from there and which one to play. But anyway, yeah, I know Angel. I have to find the interest in I think in the history of Napoleonics, for me to get into a game, and I'm just not there. I just hasn't clicked yet. I haven't found something that made me go, okay, I want to get into this. I want to play a game about this. Join or Die.
Yep, that's what it says on my shirt.
That's what it says, right? Doesn't it, Judd? Yeah, it says
Join or Die.
Yeah, Join or Die. So, very cool. Well, guys, make sure we're gonna wrap up here. Make sure you guys any show ideas. We've had a couple good ones here. Stick around for when the show ends. Put it in the comments below once it's done actually being live, so that way the comments there permanently. But I'll try to make a note here. Me and Judd will talk after the show. I'll write down some of these. We'll record them so that we have some of these ideas for the future. But anything you guys think of, let me know. Any Napoleonic games you want me to try, put it in the comments below. I'll be sure to ignore them. And then, yeah, Judd, you got anything else?
Don't think so.
Up here?
Don't think so.
Okay. Good show. Lots of good talking. We went over 2 hours. Always a good show when we go over 2 hours. But once we get started, Judd, you can't stop us, guys. We got stacks of games. I could talk about more games. Judd could talk about more games. But, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Daniel, have a good day. Everybody, Rusty, Paul, Nick, Daniel, Tim, everybody who showed up. I know I saw Kilroy, you were here. Robert, so many people. Love seeing you guys in here.
Oh,
yeah.
Jose, roll better for David. You're killing him, man.
Are they doing another one?
They did Constantinople. Oh. But yeah, roll better, man. You're killing him.
Heard it here from Judd, folks.
Oh, I did get resolution on the thing about Ottoman Sunset. I wrote David and asked him, why didn't you attack Mesopotamia twice instead of buying that reserve? And he said, I should have done that. So he said, I think he called it arrogance. He'd played it, he'd done so well and played so well, he made the wrong call. He goes, I should have done that. And I go, okay, good, then I wasn't wrong. Because it's just math. You doubled your chances of pushing them back. But I did warn him that he was going to have to hold the Sinai back, or they would have conquered it in all the leftover cards.
Die rolling needs improvement. He says die rolling needs improvement. So, all right, we're out of here, guys. Until next time, 2 weeks.